Chapter 1932. The reason was very simple. Not only was Li Song strong, but he also had a powerful backer. Who's that dragon man? How dare he fight Li Song? He really doesn't know how to spell the word death. Don't underestimate this man. Didn't you see the people lying on the ground? It's possible that he did it. I'm afraid that a monstrous genius has come to the immortal court. The newcomers are too arrogant. They even dare to look down on Li Song. I can only say that newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. Many onlookers had come to watch the show. No matter where Jiang Chen went, he was destined to be extraordinary, and that place was destined to be plunged into chaos. There was no doubt about it. All along, the places Jiang Chen had been to had never been peaceful. Jiang Chen flapped his dragon wings and soared into the sky, coming to the opposite side of Li Song. The qi radiating from his body was rolling like waves. It didn't seem any weaker than Li Song's. Jiang Chen, Li Song, will teach you a lesson today. I'll teach you how to be a man. Li Song punched at Jiang Chen in an incomparably domineering manner. The punch produced a terrifying qi wave that turned into a qi dragon and whizzed towards Jiang Chen. Such an attack was powerful enough. At least, it was many times stronger than Wei Hui's, but Jiang Chen didn't mind it at all. Li Song was naturally powerful, but he wasn't weak either. The true dragon palm was unleashed once again. A terrifyingly huge blood-red dragon claw landed on the qi wave. With a ferocious claw, one of the qi dragons was torn apart. The void was blasted apart by the terrifying energy, and a huge black hole appeared. This bastard's combat strength is so terrifying. He's only an early immortal venerable. What a monstrous talent. If my cultivation base wasn't at the peak of immortal venerable realm, I'm afraid that I won't be a match for him today. Li Song thought to himself. Seeing that Jiang Chen had crushed his attack with one move, he was more or less shocked. He had always been very arrogant, and the younger generation had never been convinced by others. But the appearance of Jiang Chen had really stimulated him. He almost had no doubt that if he and Jiang Chen were at the same level, he would probably be no match for Jiang Chen, just like Qiao Huan and the others. In fact, even with his current condition, he might not be a match for Jiang Chen. Li Song, if that's all you've got, don't make a fool of yourself, Jiang Chen said loudly. Jiang Chen, don't be so arrogant. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Li Song looked completely angry. The waves on his body were getting stronger and stronger. One layer after another, ripples appeared in the void. I'll let you have a taste of my 9 heavy waves. Li Song used the trump card that he was proud of, the qi-shaking 9 layers waves, which transformed all the energy in his body into waves. Each wave was more powerful than the previous one. The 9 layers waves represented 9 levels of terror. Once it was used, the opponent would feel as if he had fallen into a boundless ocean, with no end in sight and no hope. In the blink of an eye, Li Song's qi dispelling 9 heavy waves was fully unleashed. 9 layers of energy waves formed a huge void barrier, shrouding Jiang Chen within. Good. That's more like it. Upon seeing the power of the 9 heavy waves, a hint of excitement emerged on Jiang Chen's face. He longed for such a battle. If Li Song's performance was too weak, it would be meaningless. The stronger the opponent, the happier he would be. Only such a battle could arouse Jiang Chen's battle intent and test his true combat strength. 5 Elemental Combat Dragon Seal. Jiang Chen conjured powerful seals with both of his hands. For a moment, terrifying true dragons emerged and rushed in all directions. 5 different types of true dragons were wreaking havoc. Roar, roar. The whole sky was filled with dragon roars. Mystical dragon shadows were rampaging in the void, clashing with Li Song's 9 heavy waves. The heavens and earth were stirred into chaos. The void was torn into pieces. Such a battle was just too violent and soul-stirring. Countless eyes fell upon the battlefield. At this moment, no one would underestimate Jiang Chen. Everyone was shocked, wondering when such a heaven-defying existence had emerged in Feng Qi immortal domain. How can this bastard be so terrifying? Yeah. We are all early immortal venerables, but why is the gap between us so huge? It's really infuriating to compare with others. Who do you think will win? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I think Li Song has a higher chance of winning. After all, the qi rippling 9 heavy waves isn't an easy technique to deal with. Plus, Li Song's cultivation base has almost reached the half-step sovereign realm. Although Jiang Chen is heaven-defying, he's still an early immortal venerable. I don't believe that he can defeat Li Song, who is much higher than him. Everyone was shocked. This kind of battle was too exciting. Qiao Huan and the others suddenly felt how ignorant they were. With their meager strength, they had come to show off their strength and threaten to collect protection fees. But now, they had been beaten to such a state. They really deserved it. As the saying went, if you don't court death, you won't die. Now, Qiao Huan could only hope that Li Song could defeat Jiang Chen and avenge them. Otherwise, they, the senior disciples, would lose all their face. Lu Yishan and the others were very excited. Jiang Chen's power had once again refreshed their cognition and thoughts. They were already numb to it. They believed that they wouldn't be too surprised even if Jiang Chen defeated Li Song. Hung Long. The battle was still incomparably intense. The 5 elemental combat dragon and the 9 heavy waves collided constantly, trying to destroy each other. Both Jiang Chen and Li Song were continuously transferring energy to each other. I'm done playing with you. Slaughter Dragon Seal. Jiang Chen's qi changed once more. His body was filled with endless killing intent. He had already comprehended the Tao of slaughter. The terrifying Slaughter Dragon Seal was unleashed by him. A blood-red frenzied dragon of slaughter whizzed out and joined the battlefield. Hung Long. This time, the barrier formed by the 9 heavy waves could no longer withstand it. It began to crack inch by inch and eventually collapsed. Barf. The 9 heavy waves was destroyed by Jiang Chen's Slaughter Dragon Seal. Immediately, Li Song suffered a great backlash and spurted out a mouthful of blood. The 9 heavy waves was his strongest attack. It was closely linked to his energy. It was imaginable how much impact it had on him now that it was destroyed by Jiang Chen. How is this possible? Chapter 1933. Presently, Li Song was in endless shock. He simply couldn't accept the reality, and couldn't imagine how an immortal venerable could be so powerful. This was just too heaven-defying. The entire scene turned silent in an instant. Everyone's eyes were unblinking, and their mouths almost dropped to the ground. No one had expected such an outcome. No one believed that Jiang Chen could defeat Li Song. One should know that Li Song's cultivation base was infinitely close to the half-step sovereign realm. Even if he encountered an ordinary half-step sovereign, he would still be able to put up a fight. Today, a monstrous genius had emerged out of nowhere and defeated Li Song with a mere early immortal venerable cultivation base. No one would believe it if they didn't see it with their own eyes. It was too shocking and exciting. What kind of monstrous genius is this guy? Could he be a heavenly god? That's right. This is just too heaven-defying. Is he really just an early immortal venerable? And have you all noticed that his transformation technique hasn't affected him at all? That's right. This guy is going to make a name for himself in this battle. Even Li Song was defeated by him. I'm afraid that there's no one with such talent in the immortal court. This battle is bound to attract the attention of the higher-ups. Perhaps, a mighty immortal sovereign will take a liking to him. From then on, he will soar to the sky. In any case, he will surely be heavily nurtured by the immortal court. Everyone was in a state of intense shock. Most of them still hadn't recovered from their shock, but they were almost certain that Jiang Chen was bound to make a name for himself in this battle. He was bound to attract the attention of the higher-ups and be heavily nurtured by the immortal court in the future. Don't worry. The battle isn't over yet. Don't forget that Li Song's grandfather is a second-grade great sovereign. He must have a trump card. Someone spoke. His words reminded the crowd. Everyone's eyes fell upon the battlefield in the sky once more. Currently, Li Song's face was full of anger in addition to astonishment. Although he had already suffered the powerful backlash of the soul-stirring 9 heavy waves, he didn't seem to be afraid at all. Clearly, just like what the man said, Li Song might have a powerful trump card. Jiang Chen, I didn't expect you to be so strong. However, don't get lucky. Offending me won't end well for you. Li Song straightened his body and said viciously to Jiang Chen, don't talk big. What other tricks do you have? Jiang Chen sneered. Li Song flipped his hand, and a golden pill appeared in his palm. There seemed to be the shadow of a dragon flashing inside the pill. The moment the pill appeared, even though he was far away, Jiang Chen could feel the terrifying energy coming from the pill. Initially, I was planning to use this Longyang pellet to break through to the half-martial emperor realm. However, I never found a suitable opportunity to do so. Today's battle with you has caused me to be seriously injured. However, the bottleneck has also suddenly been broken through, allowing me to find the best opportunity to break through to the half-martial emperor realm. As long as I consume the Longyang pellet now, my cultivation will immediately break through to the half-martial emperor realm. At that time, dealing with you will be as easy as crushing an ant. Li Song said proudly. Swoosh. However, as soon as Li Song's voice faded, a golden light suddenly appeared in front of him like a ghost. Li Song felt a sharp pain in his arm, as if he was shaken by some kind of force. The Longyang pellet in his hand suddenly disappeared. When he came to his senses, he found that the Longyang pellet was already in Jiang Chen's hand. Jie Jie. At this time, a dog laughed sinisterly. Li Song's angry eyes fell on De Huang Dog. He was sure that it was this dog who attacked him just now. Damn dog, how dare you steal my pellet? Li Song had an urge to vomit blood. The Longyang pellet was extremely precious. It was specially prepared by his grandfather for him to find the right opportunity to break through to the half-martial emperor realm. He had never found the right condition to break through to the half-martial emperor realm, so he had always kept the Longyang pellet as a treasure. Today's battle with Jiang Chen had benefited him greatly. Originally, he had planned to refine the Longyang pellet to break through to the half-martial emperor realm, but he didn't expect that a dog would appear out of nowhere and snatch his pellet at lightning speed. How could Li Song not be angry? Where the fuck did this dog come from? How could it be so fast? Damn it! Where did this dog come from? This dog isn't simple. Li Song has suffered a great loss this time. The Longyang pellet was snatched away by a dog. Now that it has fallen into the hands of Jiang Chen, isn't it a great gift to his opponent? What a deceptive dog. Li Song must have the heart to die now. The Longyang pellet is his hope to break through to the half-martial emperor realm. The sudden turn of events left everyone dumbfounded. Li Song's incomparably complacent expression turned into sorrow the next moment. Many of them could see that this dog wasn't a simple character. The lightning-fast attack just now was so fast that even a peak immortal venerable like Li Song didn't have the chance to react. Other than Li Song being careless and not paying attention to the dog, the big yellow dog's strength was the main reason for the situation. As a matter of fact, even if Li Song was fully focused, it would still be a piece of cake for De Huang Dog to snatch his pellet. Even if Li Song swallowed the pellet, De Huang Dog would spit it out. After all, the gap between them wasn't small. Little Chenzi, the main effect of this Longyang pellet is to help a peak immortal venerable break through to the half-step sovereign realm. If a peak immortal venerable takes the Longyang pellet, there's an 80% chance of success. If he chooses the right time, he will certainly advance to the half-step sovereign realm. That kid took out the Longyang pellet when he found the right time, but unfortunately, he met Master Dog. Kaka. De Huang Dog was incomparably excited. He had always been good at doing such things. Apart from helping you break through to the half-step sovereign realm, the Longyang pellet can improve your cultivation base by 1 level. If you swallow it, you will immediately advance to the intermediate immortal venerable realm. At that time, not even a half-step sovereign will be a match for you. De Huang Dog continued. That's amazing. After listening to De Huang Dog's words, Jiang Chen's eyes glowed with a strange light. To him, the most important thing was to improve his cultivation base. A Longyang pellet could advance his cultivation base to the intermediate immortal venerable realm without any side effects. It wouldn't even affect his foundation. This was simply what Jiang Chen had been dreaming of. Chapter 1934. Jiang Chen, give the pill back to me. Li Song yelled at Jiang Chen. Give it back to you? Tell me, how am I going to return it to you? Jiang Chen laughed. Returning it to him? What a joke. How could he return such a treasure? How could he return it? The Longyang pill was important to Li Song, but it was equally important to Jiang Chen. If his cultivation base advanced to the intermediate immortal venerable realm, he would be able to walk unhindered among the ordinary disciples of the immortal court. Jiang Chen, you'd better not go too far. As long as you give the pill back to me, I can pretend that nothing has happened today. All the grievances between us will be written off. Li Song's tone began to soften. Even though he hated Jiang Chen to the core, he had to soften his tone for the sake of his Longyang pill. The value of the Longyang pill was just too great, especially to him. It was priceless. His grandfather had spent a great deal of effort to get it for him. It would be too humiliating if it was taken away by someone else. Do you think Jiang Chen will return the pill to Li Song? I don't think so. Haven't you noticed that Jiang Chen isn't a kind person? Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people lying on the ground. Normally, monstrous geniuses like him are extremely arrogant and condescending. I'm afraid he won't care even if Li Song has a powerful backer. That's right. If I were him, I wouldn't return the pill either. After all, the enmity between me and Li Song has already been set in stone. It's almost impossible for us to reconcile. Besides, if I return the pill, Li Song will immediately advance to the half-step sovereign realm. By then, Jiang Chen won't have a good time. Many of them began to discuss it. As the saying went, those who were watching a good show wouldn't mind it getting bigger. This show was getting more and more interesting. It had been a long time since the Immortal Court was in such a mess. Many of them wanted to see whether Jiang Chen could be tough to the end. One should know that those who offended Li Song didn't end up well. Jiang Chen looked at the Longyang pill in his hand thoughtfully. Even though Li Song thought that Jiang Chen would return the pill to him, Jiang Chen swallowed the pill with a gulp. Fa! Li Song fainted on the spot. Then, he flew into a rage and lunged at Jiang Chen like a madman. Jiang Chen, you bastard! How dare you eat my pill? That's mine. That's mine. Li Song was on the verge of losing his mind. He felt that the most important thing to him had been taken away, and he had to get it back no matter what. Fuck you! Jiang Chen struck out the true dragon palm and sent Li Song flying away. Li Song was seriously injured and had lost his mind. He was no match for Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen wouldn't put him in his eyes even if he was in his peak state, let alone in this situation. Hong! As soon as the Longyang pill entered Jiang Chen's body, its vigorous medicinal power exploded. The terrifying energy penetrated into all of Jiang Chen's limbs and bones like a tide. Despite Jiang Chen's mental fortitude, he couldn't help but eat the vigorous medicinal power of the Longyang pill. Jiang Chen didn't dare to be negligent. He hastily operated the dragon transformation skill and began to unblock the energy in his body, penetrating into his qi and refining it crazily. New dragon marks were formed one after another. 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 20,000. It was too fast. The speed of the dragon marks formation was too fast. The comfortable feeling made Jiang Chen yell. Jiang Chen, I'm going to kill you. Seeing that Jiang Chen's qi was rising continuously, Li Song's eyes turned red once more. A combat sword appeared in his hand, and he slashed at Jiang Chen crazily. At this moment, Jiang Chen had become his irreconcilable enemy. He had to tear Jiang Chen into pieces to vent his hatred. It should have belonged to him, but now, his opponent was using his pill to enhance his cultivation base in front of him. Even coughing up a basin of blood wouldn't be able to get rid of the depression and grievance in his heart. Damn it! This was too abominable. Unfortunately, Li Song was no longer able to do anything in front of Jiang Chen. Before he could reach Jiang Chen, he was sent flying by Jiang Chen's kick. Presently, Jiang Chen was too lazy to pay attention to Li Song. All his attention was focused on breaking through to the intermediate immortal venerable realm. Nothing was more important than this. The number of dragon marks condensed very quickly. In just a few minutes, the number of dragon marks in Jiang Chen's qi had reached 1.55 million, which was exactly the amount needed to break through to the intermediate immortal venerable realm. Ka-cha! It was the sound of a breakthrough. A large number of immortal meta stones were refined by Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen's cultivation base immediately broke through to the intermediate immortal venerable realm. Even so, the medicinal power of the Longyang pill wasn't exhausted. It added another 10,000 dragon marks to Jiang Chen's 1.56 million dragon marks. No wonder it's the Longyang pill that could allow one to break through to the half-step sovereign realm. Its effect is extraordinary. Not only that, but my foundation isn't affected in the slightest. In fact, it's even more stable than before. Such a peerless pill is simply perfect. Jiang Chen was very excited. He had obtained such a great benefit on his first day in the Immortal Court. This trip wasn't in vain. Bastard. Li Song burst into tears when he saw Jiang Chen successfully advancing to the next level with the Longyang pill, as though the most important thing in his life had been taken away by someone else. Pah! Without saying a word, Jiang Chen slapped Li Song to the ground. This slap made Li Song like a dead dog, unable to get up again. Then, Jiang Chen grabbed Li Song's neck and threw him to the side of Qiao Huan. Now, Qiao Huan, two early immortal venerable disciples, Wei Hui and Li Song were lying on the ground. There were 5 of them in total. Jiang Chen, what are you doing? Li Song gritted his teeth and said. He had lost a lot of face today, and all his prestige had been swept away. Losing face was a small matter, but losing the Longyang elixir was a big deal. Every time he thought about it, he had the urge to cry. What am I doing? Wait for someone to pay ransom for you. If no one comes, you can just keep lying here. Jiang Chen said with a smile. Li Song spat out a mouthful of blood on the ground. He almost fainted. How could he be so unlucky to meet such a scoundrel? He had already stolen the Longyang elixir, and now he wanted a ransom. He was simply insatiable. He had seen shameless people, but he had never seen such a shameless person. Fuck! Is this bastard crazy? How can he ask for ransom when he doesn't know what's good for him? Interesting. I'd like to see how he's going to deal with this. Chapter 1935. Many of them thought that Jiang Chen should stop while he was ahead. After all, he had already obtained the Longyang pill. It would only be disadvantageous for him if he continued to cause trouble. One should know that Li Song wasn't someone to be trifled with. His grandfather was the one that he couldn't afford to offend. Wei Yun, go get a stool. Jiang Chen said to Wei Yun. Got it. Wei Yun turned and went to the courtyard to bring out a tiger chair and placed it behind Jiang Chen. Wei Yun and the others were now full of admiration for Jiang Chen. They had never seen someone as amazing as Jiang Chen. Today's incident had made their blood boil. In any case, all of them who had followed Jiang Chen felt their blood boiling, and they felt proud and elated. Wei Yun and the others were now completely loyal to Jiang Chen. They had even regarded Jiang Chen as their idol. Jiang Chen sat down on the tiger chair and crossed his legs, completely unperturbed. Jiang Chen was a smart man. He knew what he was doing. He also knew that there was someone behind Li Song, but the more he knew, the more he wanted to cause trouble. His purpose of coming to the Immortal Court this time was to help Nangong Wentian, but after arriving at the Immortal Court, he found that things were far more complicated than he had imagined. Currently, the entire Immortal Court was under the control of Star Sovereign. Heaven Sovereign had disappeared for too long. Even if he returned now, not many people would respect him. Jiang Chen knew very well that even if he went to the miniature Fengqi world and helped Heaven Sovereign find the ancient elephant bloodline and restore his cultivation base to its peak, it still wouldn't allow Heaven Sovereign to truly regain control of the Immortal Court. It wasn't an easy process. In order to regain control of the Immortal Court, he must start from the inside and rebuild his own force step by step. That was why Jiang Chen wanted to cause trouble. He wanted to muddy the stagnant water of the Immortal Court so that he could fish in troubled waters and find an opportunity to disintegrate the Immortal Court. Jiang Chen didn't know where the opportunity was or when he would come back, but since he was already here, he must not let the Immortal Court remain peaceful. Since Li Song had given him a chance to make a scene, he might as well make a scene and force the bigwigs of the Immortal Court to come out. Jiang Chen, you don't know what's good for you. You will definitely pay a heavy price for what you've done. Li Song lay on the ground and kept screaming. However, he was suppressed by Jiang Chen's aura and couldn't get up at all. You're just a loser. If I were you, I would just lie here and not say a word. You'd better pray that someone will come to redeem you. Otherwise, you can just lie here forever. Jiang Chen said calmly and patted Li Song's head. Wah! Li Song spurted out another mouthful of blood. What kind of figure and identity was he? He had always been unstoppable in the Immortal Court. Today, he had met such a daring bastard who dared to make him kneel on the ground like a dead dog. He had lost all his face. If he had the chance in the future, he would definitely have his revenge. Li Song thought to himself. Senior brother Jiang, isn't the matter a bit too big? Lu Yishan, who was standing beside Jiang Chen, said cautiously. When would this come to an end? Plus, this was only their first day in the Immortal Court. Don't worry. Someone will come to redeem them soon. We'll divide the ransom later. Given Li Song's status in the Immortal Court, he wasn't afraid that no one would come. It wouldn't take long for someone to come knocking on his door after today's matter had escalated to such an extent. Jiang Chen was unafraid of anything. He would deal with whatever came his way. Lu Yishan shook his head. He didn't dare to ask for such a ransom. Just as Jiang Chen had expected, in just a few minutes, a powerful qi rushed out of the immortal court and arrived at the peak of the mountain in the blink of an eye. It was an old man. He seemed to be a half-step sovereign, but a half-step sovereign had a certain status in the immortal court. He was at least an elder like Han Feng. As soon as the old man appeared, he immediately saw the scene on the mountain peak. When he saw Li Song lying on the ground after being beaten, the old man's expression changed drastically. "Bastard! What did you do to Li Song?" The old man bellowed at Jiang Chen in anger. "Elder Kong, save me!" Li Song turned to the old man and begged for help. "Jiang Chen is in trouble this time. Elder Kong has been following Li Song's grandfather. He must have heard that something happened to Li Song. That's why he came here as soon as possible. It seems that he won't let this matter go." That's right. Elder Kong is a powerful half-step sovereign. No matter how powerful Jiang Chen is, he won't be a match for a half-step sovereign. Of course, even if his cultivation base has just advanced enough to fight a half-step sovereign, I don't think he has the guts to do so. After all, his opponent is an elder. Look, it's getting more and more lively. I'd like to see how Jiang Chen is going to deal with this. The appearance of Elder Kong made the atmosphere even tenser. They all knew Elder Kong. He was an elder of the immortal court who was in charge of the affairs of the ordinary disciples. His status was neither high nor low like Han Feng, but he was the face of the immortal court in the outside world. Brat who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Release Li Song at once. I'll punish you severely today. Elder Kong's voice was stern. Old man, stop bullshitting. If you want to release him, pay me the ransom. Jiang Chen stretched out his palm towards Elder Kong, asking for the ransom. What the fuck? Upon seeing this, many people felt dizzy. Is this guy blinded by money? That's an elder of the immortal court. Doesn't he know that he's in big trouble? Putting aside the other matters, the fact that he didn't even put an elder in his eyes was enough to punish him. Not just the others. Even Elder Kong was dumbfounded. Ransom? What ransom? How dare this guy ask for money? What the hell is he doing? A total of 8 people and 6 million venerable grade immortal meta stones. If you have the money, pay the ransom now. If not, get lost. Let the rich come. Jiang Chen waved his hand at Elder Kong, his face full of impatience. Elder Kong rolled his eyes. Brat, it seems like I have to teach you a lesson. I'll let you know the rules. Elder Kong was infuriated. Without saying a word, he stretched out his huge palm to grab Jiang Chen. Seeing Elder Kong's attack, Jiang Chen leaped up from the tiger chair, instantly transforming into his dragon form and slapped at Elder Kong with a ferocious palm. Bang! A shocking scene unfolded. Elder Kong, a half-step sovereign, was sent flying out of the mountain by Jiang Chen's palm. Chapter 1936. This time, the scene went out of control. Countless people's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. My God! Does he have to be so ferocious? That's a half-step sovereign. Am I hallucinating? Ferocious! He's a peerless ferocious man. He's the first one to beat an elder on his first day here. I admire him. I, Wu Lao Er, admire him from the bottom of my heart. He's simply invincible. At this moment, no one could remain calm anymore. They couldn't remain calm at all. It wasn't that they hadn't seen fierce people before, but they had never seen someone so fierce to such an extent. This was going against the heavens. As a matter of fact, it wasn't surprising that Elder Kong couldn't withstand Jiang Chen's attack. After all, Elder Kong was just an ordinary half-step sovereign who had just advanced to half-step sovereign. His combat strength was even weaker than Han Feng's. If they really fought, Li Song would be able to fight Elder Kong to a draw. If it was a moment ago, Jiang Chen naturally wouldn't be able to send Elder Kong flying so easily, but things were different now. Due to the Longyang pill, Jiang Chen's cultivation base had improved tremendously, pushing to the intermediate immortal venerable realm. Someone like Elder Kong was no longer a match for Jiang Chen. Their combat strength wasn't on the same level. Li Song, who thought that he had seen his savior, was completely dumbfounded. He was dumbfounded for 2 reasons. Firstly, he didn't think that Jiang Chen would be so bold that he even dared to hit an elder. The second point that depressed Li Song the most was the improvement of Jiang Chen's cultivation base. It was as if Jiang Chen had become a different person in just a blink. One should know that this was all because of his Longyang pill. Thinking of the pill, Li Song couldn't help but burst into tears. Jiang Chen, my grandpa won't let you go. Li Song gritted his teeth. Then we'll talk about it when your grandpa comes. The indifference on Jiang Chen's face made people wonder where he got his confidence from. He didn't even put a great sovereign in his eyes. More and more people gathered outside the mountain peak. They were all here to watch the show. Normally, very few people would come here. What happened today was already a major event. A new disciple had caused such a commotion that not even a half-step sovereign was a match for him. Given Li Song's identity, everyone knew that even his grandpa would come in person soon. At that time, Jiang Chen would be in deep trouble. Little Chenzi, are you confident? De Huang Dog asked in a low voice. Don't worry, I just used the great divination art to divine it. There are already experts paying attention to this place. The stronger I appear, the more attention I'll attract. Once Li Song's grandfather comes, the experts in the dark will come to stop him. Jiang Chen said with incomparable confidence. Although he didn't have a complete plan, his goal was very clear: to stir up the immortal court, which was a pool of stagnant water. This guy is a lunatic. He doesn't care about his life at all. If Li Song's grandfather really comes later, will he have a good time? That's right. He's too arrogant. I don't know what he's thinking. I think there's something wrong with his brain. Elder Li Yuan is a second-grade great sovereign. Plus, everyone in the immortal court knows that Elder Li Yuan is very protective of Li Song. Not only did Jiang Chen snatch Li Song's Longyang pill, but he also beat Li Song up. What's the difference between this and seeking death? Yeah. Given Elder Li Yuan's status and identity, no one would dare to say anything if he crippled a new disciple. In their opinion, what Jiang Chen was doing now was insane. One should know that even if he knew when to stop, he might not be able to achieve a good result. It was imaginable what would happen if he went too far. Not long after that, a super overbearing qi drifted from the sky. The person hadn't arrived yet, but the boundless pressure had already filled the air. That was the pressure of a great sovereign. It was so oppressive that it could make one's soul tremble. Jiang Chen sat on the tiger chair, raising his eyebrows frivolously, looking at the direction of the incoming person. His face was full of indifference, as if he had no intention of standing up from the chair. The big shot had arrived. He was a fat old man in his 50s, his face full of killing intent. The fury of a great sovereign instantly spread across the sky of the immortal court. Many disciples couldn't bear the pressure. Their faces darkened. Some of the weaker ones had to move away from the mountain peak. The incomer was none other than Li Song's grandpa, Li Yuan, a powerful second-grade great sovereign. Save me, grandpa. This bastard snatched my Longyang pill. Seeing that his grandfather was here, Li Song shouted loudly as if he had seen a life-saving straw. At the mention of the Longyang elixir, Li Song's mood was extremely complicated. A mouthful of blood had rushed to his throat, but he forcibly swallowed it back. Brat, I think you know what to do now. Li Yuan said to Jiang Chen. Although his tone was flat, everyone could hear the anger in his words. Li Yuan felt that now that he had personally appeared, this suicidal kid would immediately release his grandson and then kneel on the ground and kowtow to beg for mercy. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chen stretched out his palm and said, 5,600,000 venerable grade immortal meta stones. Pay the ransom. Otherwise, get lost. What? Countless people felt dizzy once more. Even Li Yuan, a second-grade great sovereign, staggered and almost fell from the sky. Get lost? This was too much. No one in the entire immortal court had ever dared to ask him to get lost. It's over. This Jiang Chen is definitely done for. He has thoroughly offended Elder Li Yuan. Offending a second-grade great sovereign wouldn't end well for him. Courting death. Li Yuan was enraged. Without saying a word, a huge hand as large as the sky came crashing down. A powerful aura covered the entire mountain peak. Under this aura, Lu Yishan and the others found it extremely difficult to even move, let alone resist. The attack of a second-grade great sovereign was extremely powerful. Li Yuan was too confident in himself. He acted decisively, not fearing that the opponent would hurt his grandson, because he was confident that the opponent wouldn't be able to move at all. De Huang, teach him a lesson. Jiang Chen said flatly. He didn't want the matter to be blown out of proportion. Since no one had come out yet, he might as well make the matter bigger. All right. De Huang Dog laughed. He had been suppressing his impatience for a long time. Ever since he had advanced to the great sovereign realm, he had yet to fight. Although he didn't put Li Yuan in his eyes, he was still a second-grade great sovereign. Chapter 1937. The reddish-golden light was extremely powerful. It was like a series of terrifying golden swords that pierced through the void, leaving huge holes in the void. Li Yuan cursed inwardly. Before he made his move, he had not expected that there would be someone here who could stand up to him. This was no small matter. Hung Long. Under the powerful attack of De Huang Dog, Li Yuan's giant hand was pierced through and exploded. Li Yuan himself was also affected by the shockwave, retreating a few dozen meters before he could regain his balance. What? Li Yuan exclaimed. His horrified eyes fell upon Big Yellow as if he had seen a ghost. He simply couldn't believe that this was real. He was a dignified second-grade great sovereign, but his attack was directly broken by a dog. How could he accept this? Oh my God! What's the origin of that dog? How can he be so powerful? This dog is most likely a demon sovereign. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to destroy Elder Li Yuan's powerful attack so easily. Isn't this Jiang Chen too heaven-defying? He actually made a demon sovereign follow him wholeheartedly. How great would it be if I had a demon sovereign as my bodyguard? That's right. That's right. When this dog snatched the Longyang pill from Li Song, I could already tell that this dog is extraordinary. But I didn't expect him to be so powerful. No wonder Jiang Chen is sitting there without fear. He doesn't even care about a great sovereign. It turns out that he has such a powerful demon sovereign by his side. It seems like he has the right to be arrogant. Everyone was shocked. The situation seemed to have taken a turn once again. Initially, everyone thought that the matter would be over with Li Yuan's arrival. They thought that Jiang Chen would be severely punished or even crippled. Who would have thought that this dog was so powerful that even a second-grade great sovereign was no match for it? Li Song, who was lying on the ground, widened his eyes. It was imaginable how depressed he was feeling. To be honest, Li Song was filled with regret. He shouldn't have come to cause trouble for Jiang Chen. He shouldn't have kicked this iron plate. He had lost all his face. He had lost the Longyang pill. Now, even his grandfather had lost his face. How was he going to live in the future? Li Yuan's pupils shrunk as he saw through De Huang's cultivation base in an instant. So you are a first-grade demon sovereign. Kid, no wonder you are so arrogant. But do you think you can do whatever you want with a first-grade demon sovereign beside you? Don't forget that this is the immortal court. Since you've offended me, I'll definitely punish you today. Li Yuan was infuriated. Even though he was pushed back by the attack, his chi surged once again when he realized that De Huang Dog was merely a first-grade demon sovereign. He was, after all, a second-grade great sovereign, one level higher than De Huang Dog. Therefore, he was very confident in himself. He didn't believe that he couldn't defeat a first-grade great sovereign. I'm afraid you can't execute me, but if you want to take Li Song away, you'll have to pay 5.6 million venerable grade immortal meta stones. Jiang Chen sat on the tiger chair with his legs crossed, not putting Li Yuan in his eyes at all. Even 10 people like Li Yuan wouldn't be able to defeat De Huang Dog. Given De Huang Dog's current strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight an ordinary third-grade great sovereign. I'll first slaughter this dog, then I'll cripple you, who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Li Yuan was thoroughly enraged. He unleashed his chi of a second-grade great sovereign. He soared to the sky and waved his hands in the air, opening up a battlefield. The battlefield of a battle between great sovereigns had to be sealed. Otherwise, the consequences would be very serious. The aftermath of the battle wasn't something that ordinary disciples could bear. For God's sake, how dare you kill Master Dog? De Huang Dog snorted disdainfully. His majestic body turned into a ray of light and rushed forward. Just teach him a lesson. Don't kill him. Jiang Chen reminded. He was really afraid that De Huang Dog would kill this old man on impulse. That would be really troublesome. No matter what, De Huang Dog was a second-grade great sovereign and an elder of the immortal court. After listening to Jiang Chen's words, Li Yuan had the urge to spurt out a mouthful of blood. It seemed like this dog was going to hold back later, or else he would be dead for sure. To Li Yuan, this was a humiliation. Die, stupid dog! Li Yuan immediately launched a violent attack. Boundless energy converged into a seal, covering everything and sealing the entire battlefield. Then, the seal smashed towards De Huang Dog. This was the full-force attack of a second-grade great sovereign. Many people's expression changed. However, just when they were guessing how De Huang Dog was going to deal with Li Yuan's powerful attack, they saw De Huang Dog charging towards Li Yuan with his head glowing with golden light. In the eyes of the masses, this was a completely suicidal attack. This was insane. Pang pang. Under countless horrified gazes, Li Yuan's attack was broken inch by De Huang Dog's head. What was even more unbelievable was that the attack that could tear the sky apart couldn't cause any damage to De Huang Dog's head. De Huang Dog's speed was extremely fast, like a bolt of lightning. After destroying Li Yuan's powerful attack, his indestructible head slammed into Li Yuan's chest. Ugh! A blood-curdling scream was heard. Many of them could hear the sound of bones breaking. Some of them saw Li Yuan spurting out a mouthful of blood. His entire body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. A large part of his chest was dented. Everyone was dumbfounded. No one had expected such a scene. It was like a dream. All along, Li Song's grandfather was a great figure in their hearts. That was why Li Song was bossy and domineering among the ordinary disciples. That was why he bullied the newcomers like Jiang Chen. Now, it seemed like this newcomer wasn't someone to be trifled with. Your grandfather is powerful, but his dog is already heaven-defying. Moreover, that dog's head is so tough. It's like a divine weapon. Kaka weak. Big Yellow shook his head and laughed heartily. A second-grade great sovereign couldn't even withstand a single blow from him. Oh my god! How can this dog be so powerful? Some people couldn't accept this fact. However, today's incident must be even more serious. A second-grade great sovereign was beaten up. This was definitely a big matter. Chapter 1938. Who the hell are you? Li Yuan stared at De Huang Dog and asked in an incomparably cold tone. Li Yuan, this has nothing to do with you. If you don't want to embarrass yourself enough, you can continue. Otherwise you can take out 5.6 million venerable grade immortal meta stones and take these trash away. Don't come looking for trouble with me, Jiang Chen, in the future. Otherwise, it won't be as simple as a ransom next time. Jiang Chen said indifferently. How dare this Li Song ask for protection money from him? This was no different from stepping on the Tai Sui's head. If Jiang Chen didn't teach this Li Song a lesson, how could he establish his prestige in the future? Jiang Chen, you are too arrogant. Do you think that you can do whatever you want just because you are a demon sovereign? Don't forget that this is the immortal court. Li Yuan was infuriated to the extreme. Then he turned and left. Even though Li Yuan had left, everyone knew that this matter was far from over. Given Li Yuan's identity and status, he would definitely fight for justice. If he lost his face in the hands of a new disciple, he wouldn't be able to raise his head in the immortal court in the future. Going to move people again? A faint smile emerged on the corner of Jiang Chen's mouth. He didn't mind Li Yuan's actions at all. Li Yuan's action was exactly what Jiang Chen wanted. The bigger the commotion, the better it would be for him. What he needed now was to make a name for himself, and only then would it be easier for him to get things done. Jiang Chen's great divination art had been cultivated to the point of perfection. He had long sensed that there was a powerful expert who had been watching this place, or rather watching him. Therefore, Jiang Chen could continue to stir up trouble unscrupulously and wait for the appearance of that expert. Jiang Chen's current plan was very simple. Since Nangong Wentian was alone in the immortal court, he would help Nangong Wentian to gather more forces and disintegrate Star Sovereign from the inside. It didn't take long for Li Yuan to return. This time, there was another old man beside him. The old man's chi was even more vigorous than before. He was a powerful third-grade great sovereign, a peak third-grade great sovereign. Such an existence had a high status even in the immortal court. Gosh, it's Elder Yuan Cheng. He's from the Leopard Hall. Oh yes, Elder Li Yuan has always been on good terms with Elder Yuan Cheng. It's like he has the support of the Leopard Hall. Jiang Chen is a newcomer. If he offends the Leopard Hall, it's no different from courting death. There are 3 special halls in the immortal court. They are the Dragon Hall, the Tiger Hall and the Leopard Hall. The people of these 3 halls are not to be trifled with. Yes, Elder Yuan Chang is from the Leopard Hall. With his identity, status and qualifications, he can directly execute Jiang Chen and that dog. Jiang Chen heard the conversation in the second high school. It seemed like Han Feng hadn't told him everything clearly. There was still 3 more powerful halls in the Immortal Court. Of course, Jiang Chen knew the reason why Han Feng didn't tell him about it. Han Feng thought that Jiang Chen was a newcomer after all. There were many things that he would learn slowly. However, Han Feng would never have thought that Jiang Chen would cause such a huge ruckus on his first day in the Immortal Court. Even the people of the Leopard Hall were alarmed. Fortunately, Han Feng had gone into seclusion after his return. If he was here, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to control his emotions. Audacious and unscrupulous. Such a disciple should be crippled immediately. Yuan Cheng shot a glance at Jiang Chen and only said a few words. Then, he struck decisively. One of his big hands shrouded Jiang Chen and a Huang dog at the same time, carrying strong killing intent. This was what it meant to be domineering. He didn't even say a single word, and immediately attacked. This situation infuriated Jiang Chen, but he didn't say anything. This was a world where the strong preyed on the weak, and he could only blame himself for being too weak. Roar! The Huang dog roared wildly. Given his combat strength, he could even fight against a powerful third-grade great sovereign. It was impossible for Yuan Cheng to kill them directly. Humph! However, just as the Huang dog was about to strike, a cold harumph suddenly fell from the sky. Voila! The energy attack, which was originally as powerful as a tide, actually shattered with a crash and was directly destroyed by this cold snort. Everyone gasped at the scene. They were guessing how powerful the person who attacked secretly was. One should know that Yuan Cheng was a third-grade great sovereign, a peak existence. To be able to destroy the attack of a third-grade great sovereign's past life with just a cold harumph, such strength was unimaginable to everyone. A golden light appeared in the sky, then turned into a middle-aged man in his 40s. The man was wearing a long golden robe, with 2 spiraling dragons embroidered on both sleeves. His black hair was fluttering in the wind. He had a mighty square face, as sharp as a knife. Just a glance from him could make people's heart palpitate. 5th-grade great sovereign. That's right. The incomer was a powerful 5th-grade great sovereign. Such a cultivation base could be considered as one of the best in the entire Immortal Court. It was imaginable that the old man's identity and status was unimaginable. Jiang Chen hastily stood up from the tiger chair. This was the person who had been observing him secretly. Countless gazes fell upon the middle-aged man. When they saw his face clearly, many of them almost cried out in surprise, because they knew who the incomer was. It's the Hallmaster of the Dragon Hall, Feng Jingyang. Oh my god! Even a great figure like him has appeared. What? He's Feng Jingyang? I have never seen such a legendary figure after being in the Immortal Court for so long. It is said that among the 3 halls of the Immortal Court, the Dragon Hall is the strongest. There aren't many people in the hall, but each of them is stronger than the other. Especially the Hallmaster, a 5th-grade great sovereign. His position in the Immortal Court is second only to the Sovereign Lord, Star Sovereign. Even the Hallmaster of the Dragon Hall has come. This is unbelievable. He might have come for Jiang Chen. I have long heard that the Hallmaster of the Dragon Hall cherishes talents the most. The conditions for the Dragon Hall to recruit disciples are very strict. There are no rules or standards. There is only one condition, and that is to catch the eye of Feng Jingyang. Unfortunately, there are only a few people in the entire Immortal Court that can catch the eye of Feng Jingyang. That's why there are fewer people in the Dragon Hall compared to the Tiger Hall and the Leopard Hall. That's right. He must have come for Jiang Chen. Motherfucker. This Jiang Chen is really lucky. He has already caught the attention of the Hallmaster of the Dragon Hall on his first day. If he enters the Dragon Hall because of this, he will soar to the sky. How enviable. Countless people were sighing. The appearance of Feng Jingyang had caused a huge commotion. Obviously, Feng Jingyang had come for Jiang Chen. Chapter 1939. Greetings, Hallmaster Feng. Yuan Cheng and Li Yuan saluted Feng Jingyang respectfully. Even though the Dragon Hall and Leopard Hall didn't have a good relationship, Yuan Cheng didn't dare to show the slightest neglect in front of a big shot like Feng Jingyang. After all, there was a huge gap between their strength. 2 old fellas. How dare you bully a new disciple? Where's your face? Feng Jingyang's words were very impolite. Even though Yuan Cheng was a member of Leopard Hall, he didn't give him any face. Reliable. Jiang Chen immediately laughed in his heart. This Feng Jingyang was too much to his taste. He was overbearing and powerful. It would be great if he could rope such a person to Heaven's sovereign side. Moreover, Jiang Chen could see that the relationship between these three halls was not that good. Feng Jingyang's eyes lit up. Since there were conflicts between them, it couldn't be better. If the Immortal Court was ruled by Star Sovereign, Jiang Chen wouldn't know where to start. Hall Master Feng, this Jiang Chen beat up other disciples and elders on his first day here. You can see for yourself. There are so many people lying on the ground now. If such an arrogant person isn't punished, where will the dignity of the Immortal Court be? Li Yuan said indignantly. You can't represent the dignity of the Immortal Court. Feng Jingyang glanced at Li Yuan, then at Jiang Chen, as if waiting for Jiang Chen to explain. Jiang Chen greets Hall Master. It's true that I beat up these people, but it was only self-defense. Speaking of which, I'm the victim and the most wronged one. Jiang Chen said in a serious manner. Hearing the words victim and wronged, many people almost spurted out blood, especially Li Song and the others who were lying on the ground. They immediately pounded the ground with their fists. Shameless. Too shameless. Tell me, how are you wronged? Feng Jingyang said. He seemed to be very interested in this new disciple. Of course, if he was not interested, why would he, the Hall Master of the Dragon Hall, come here for no reason? Jiang Chen pretended to tidy his clothes. He already had absolute confidence in his heart. Feng Jingyang had clearly been paying attention to this matter from beginning to end, but he still wanted him to say it. That meant that he wanted to give him a reason to protect him. With how smart Jiang Chen was, he naturally could not let Feng Jingyang down. As the supreme existence of Feng Qi Immortal Domain, the Immortal Court must have its own rules. Since Elder Li Yuan said that I'm arrogant and hit someone, I'd like to ask if there's a rule in the immortal world that states that a new disciple must pay a protection fee? Jiang Chen shouted at Li Yuan. Li Yuan was dumbfounded. He wanted to refute, but he didn't know where to start, because there really wasn't such a rule in the Immortal Court. Li Song and the others came to bully us when they saw that we were new here. They threatened to ask us to pay 200,000 venerable grade immortal meta stones each as protection fee. Otherwise they would teach us a lesson. That's arrogance. I can't allow myself to be trampled on without retaliating. That's why I beat them up. In that case, they can only blame themselves for being weak. I want to ask, what's the point of doing this? What would you do if you two elders were in my shoes? Are you going to extend your face for them to slap when someone is knocking on your door? Jiang Chen's voice was hearty, neither servile nor overbearing. His words were reasonable and irrefutable. After listening to Jiang Chen's words, Yuan Cheng's facial expression turned incomparably unsightly. He glared at Li Yuan with the corner of his eyes. When Li Yuan went to capture Yuan Cheng, he only told him that there was a powerful demon sovereign that needed his help, but didn't tell him the ins and outs of the matter. Now that Feng Jingyang had interfered in this matter, and the reason was on someone else's side, wasn't this shameful to Yuan Cheng? Li Yuan, what else do you have to say? Said Feng Jingyang. Inwardly, he was full of praise for Jiang Chen. He had clearly seen Jiang Chen's performance just now. Jiang Chen was courageous, resourceful and had extraordinary talent. Feng Jingyang was very fond of him. This matter is Li Song's fault. In that case, let's just forget about it. Li Yuan said, gritting his teeth. Anyone could hear the gloominess in his heart, but he wasn't a fool. Feng Jingyang's appearance was obviously to help Jiang Chen. If he continued to be stubborn, it would mean that he wasn't giving Feng Jingyang any face. Everyone knew that the master of the Dragon Hall was known for his bad temper. If he really angered him, he would be killed in vain. Star Sovereign wouldn't punish Feng Jingyang for his sake. He wouldn't even say a word of reprimand to Feng Jingyang. Jiang Chen, what do you think? Feng Jingyang looked over at Jiang Chen. According to the previous agreement, Elder Li Yuan has to pay 5.6 million venerable grade immortal meta stones. Li Song and the others came to us in the name of protection fee, so it's not too much to ask Elder Li Yuan to pay the ransom. You should know that these junior brothers of mine who have just arrived have been scared out of their wits. Before they came here, they had a great longing for the Immortal Court and felt incomparably proud of being able to become a disciple of the Immortal Court. They had never thought that they would suffer such a huge blow on the first day. It's very difficult to make up for the psychological blow. It will make them feel that they don't have a sense of existence in the immortal court. They might as well not come here at all. The ransom that Elder Li Yuan is offering is just right to make up for the psychological trauma of my junior brothers. Jiang Chen enunciated each and every word as if he were speaking righteously, as if he were taking things for granted. However, after listening to Jiang Chen's words, many of them felt as if they were going to faint. This was just too shameless. Even at this moment, he still didn't forget to extort money from them. Ha ha. Even Sixi Shan and the others were grinning from ear to ear. To them, it was already good enough that the matter was resolved. How would they dare to ask for Li Yuan's immortal meta stones? They were afraid that only Jiang Chen would have the courage to do so. Jiang Chen, don't push your luck. Li Yuan was infuriated. Li Yuan, I feel that what Jiang Chen said is very reasonable. It's only fair that you take the protection fee from him and take him away with the money. Feng Jingyang spoke, not caring about Li Yuan's feelings at all. The surrounding people began to look at Li Yuan with pitiful gazes. He had no choice but to accept his fate. Who asked him to meet Feng Jingyang? The Dragon Hall of the Immortal Court was famous for being overbearing. Even a fool could see that Feng Jingyang was determined to bring Jiang Chen into the Dragon Hall. Given Feng Jingyang's protective nature, he would feel that whatever Jiang Chen did was reasonable. Chapter 1940. Li Yuan's face turned bitter. He was a second-grade great sovereign after all, and was considered to be quite famous in the Immortal Court. Today, he had lost all of his face. Why? Do you have any objection to my words? Feng Jingyang's tone sank. I dare not. Li Yuan quivered in fright. Feng Jingyang wasn't someone he could afford to offend. If he disobeyed Feng Jingyang, he wouldn't have a good time in the Immortal Court in the future, and the others in the Dragon Hall wouldn't let him go. Then, with a helpless look on his face, he took out a spatial ring and tossed it to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen caught it and scanned it with his divine sense. There were exactly 6 million venerable grade immortal meta stones in it. No more and no less. This is the spiritual compensation that Elder Li has given to us. Take it and divide it among yourselves. Jiang Chen casually tossed the spatial ring to Lu Yishan. He was a wealthy man now. These 5 million immortal meta stones were like a drop in the ocean to him. The reason why he wanted these immortal meta stones was to show his strong side. Otherwise, how could he attract Feng Jingyang's attention? Lu Yishan was shocked. Jiang Chen knew that a person like Feng Jingyang had a very strict vision. He wouldn't have taken a fancy to a person who only had great talent. Apart from talent, one must also have courage and insight. Only a person with courage, strategy and heaven-defying talent could become a great figure. These factors could be seen in Jiang Chen. That was why Feng Jingyang had appeared at all costs to recruit a genius like Jiang Chen into the Dragon Hall. All right, Elder Li, take them away. Also, teach your grandson more in the future so that he won't come looking for trouble. Jiang Chen said. Li Yuan waved his hand. A wave of energy swept across, sweeping Li Song and the others away. Li Song stood beside Li Yuan and cried again. Grandpa, Jiang Chen has stolen my Longyang pilv. Shut up, trash. Go back and face the wall to reflect on your mistakes. Li Yuan glared fiercely at Li Song. He was angry at Li Song for not fighting back. He had already lost all face today, and now that Feng Jingyang was here, there was nothing he could do. Hallmaster Feng, we will take our leave. Yuan Cheng once again cupped his fists at Feng Jingyang and prepared to leave. This was the last place he wanted to stay. He had lost face because of Li Yuan and his grandson. Wait for me to make an announcement before you leave. Feng Jingyang said. Then, he looked at Jiang Chen and a rare smile appeared on his face. Jiang Chen, are you willing to join my Dragon Hall and become a disciple? Voila! Even though they were mentally prepared for this, they still couldn't help but sigh. It was a great honor to join the Dragon Hall. It was the dream of countless disciples of the Immortal Court. Amazing! Amazing! This Jiang Chen is really lucky to be able to enter the Dragon Hall on his first day. I heard that there are less than 30 elders and disciples in the Dragon Hall, but each and every one of them is an arrogant existence. Plus, this hall is very united, so no one in the Immortal Court dares to bully them. They are the ones who bully others. How can this be called lucky? Haven't you all seen Jiang Chen's capability? He is only an intermediate immortal venerable, but he was able to send a half-step sovereign flying with a single punch. Do you have such strength? That's right. It's normal for a monstrous genius like Jiang Chen to join the Dragon Hall. Otherwise, do you think the Hall Master of the Dragon Hall would show up in person? How enviable. His status will be different after joining the Dragon Hall. It seems like we have to find a way to befriend him. It will be great if we can befriend the disciples of the Dragon Hall. Everyone was envious of Jiang Chen. It had always been everyone's dream to join the Dragon Hall. As the head of the three great halls, the Dragon Hall was a symbol of status and identity. Li Song and his grandsons' faces darkened when they heard the news. If Jiang Chen had really joined the Dragon Hall, it meant that they had completely lost the chance to seek revenge on Jiang Chen. They could only swallow their resentment today. This disciple is willing. Jiang Chen clasped his fists at Feng Jingyang and said loudly. If he said no, he would immediately offend a big shot like Feng Jingyang. Moreover, joining the Dragon Hall was exactly what Jiang Chen wanted. It would be great if he could win over the first hall of the Immortal Court to Heaven's sovereign side. All right. Pack your things and report to the Dragon Hall tomorrow. Feng Jingyang nodded and disappeared with a sway of his body. Humph! What a good thing you have done. Yuan Cheng harumphed coldly at Li Yuan and left with a flick of his sleeve. The relationship between the Leopard Hall and the Dragon Hall had never been good. Ever since the establishment of the three halls, they had been fighting each other openly and covertly. Today, not only did Li Yuan and his grandson humiliate themselves, they also allowed the Dragon Hall to have another heaven-defying genius. Li Yuan's face darkened. He left with Li Song. It was certain that this pair of grandfather and grandson would be quiet for a while. Li Song had always been arrogant and domineering among the ordinary disciples. After being taught a lesson by Jiang Chen, it would be hard for him to be arrogant in the future. A major event in the Immortal Court had finally come to an end. The whole process had ended with Jiang Chen's complete victory. In their opinion, if Li Song hadn't come to stir up trouble, Jiang Chen wouldn't have had the chance to join the Dragon Hall, at least not so quickly. From another point of view, Li Song had helped Jiang Chen. Senior brother Jiang. I'm Wang Yun. Please take care of me in the future. I'm Liang Miao. I'm here to get close to senior brother Jiang. One by one, the disciples came to the mountain peak where Jiang Chen lived and began to get close to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen greeted them one by one. He behaved very humbly, without the arrogance and domineeringness from before. His words gave people a very comfortable feeling. Although he had entered the Dragon Hall, he didn't put on any airs. This was exactly what Jiang Chen wanted to see. He wanted to establish his prestige, build up his strength bit by bit, and even disintegrate Star Sovereign's power bit by bit to help the heaven and earth return. He had taken the right first step. The next day, after bidding farewell to Lu Yishan and the others, Jiang Chen went to the Dragon Hall with De Huang Dog. Senior brother Jiang, what should we do now that you're gone? Wei Yun pulled a long face. They had only known each other for a day, but after yesterday's incident, they had begun to rely on Jiang Chen psychologically. Don't worry. This mountain peak is still mine, Jiang Chen's. You just need to cultivate here. No one will dare to bully you. If anyone dares to bully you, come find me in the Dragon Hall. Jiang Chen patted Wei Yun's shoulder and left with De Huang Dog. Chapter 1941. Looking at the receding figure of Jiang Chen, Six Yishan and the others sighed. Such was life. Some people were destined to be extraordinary, just like Jiang Chen. He had entered the Dragon Hall within a day of arriving at the Immortal Court, becoming the envy and jealousy of countless people. They were also envious, but they weren't jealous, because they knew very well that Jiang Chen didn't enter the Dragon Hall because of luck, but strength. 09 small say net. Ever since they witnessed Jiang Chen's attack, they knew that they and Jiang Chen were destined to be people of different worlds and levels, but it was definitely a blessing for them to get to know a figure like Jiang Chen. As the number one hall of the Immortal Court, the location of the Dragon Hall was naturally very easy to find. The Dragon Hall was located on a beautiful mountain peak in the northeast of the Immortal Court. It was similar to the mountain peak where Jiang Chen used to live. Compared to the center of the Immortal Court, it was considered a remote area. But the remoteness didn't represent the status of the Dragon Hall. In the Immortal Court, The Dragon Hall had always held an unshakable position that surpassed all other existences. Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog arrived at the peak of the mountain, only to find that it was incomparably quiet. There wasn't even a single guard, but Jiang Chen didn't find it strange. The dignified Dragon Hall didn't need any guards. He was afraid that no one in the entire immortal court would dare to cause trouble here, because that was no different than courting death. So quiet. There isn't even a welcoming ceremony. Don't you think that we are important? De Huang Dog mumbled, obviously dissatisfied with the situation. If it was in the past, he would be worshipped by tens of thousands of people wherever he went. All right, this is the Dragon Hall. Let's go in by ourselves. Jiang Chen patted De Huang Dog's head and strode up the mountain peak. The mountain was very vast, at least 4 to 5 times the size of the place where Jiang Chen and the others lived. The heaven and earth qi on the mountain was also extremely dense, which was very suitable for cultivation. Jiang Chen could sense that the entire mountain was surrounded by powerful restrictive spells. These restrictive spells could gather and condense the heaven qi, which made the heaven qi on the mountain much denser than outside. Jiang Chen arrived at a huge square and looked around. He didn't even see the shadow of a ghost. Could it be that everyone in the Dragon Hall has gone out to play? Jiang Chen shrugged his shoulders with a gloomy expression. He felt that he was not being taken seriously. He was personally recruited by Feng Jingyang. Even if his position was not high, he should not be treated coldly like this. It's too shameful. Rumble. At this moment, a strong roar suddenly burst out from the void. Immediately after, a strong wind whistled, and a huge golden hand fell from the sky, covering the whole square, including Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog. Damn it! De Huang Dog was exasperated. The Dragon Hall's welcoming method was really special. He was about to explode. De Huang, don't attack. Jiang Chen hastily stopped De Huang Dog. He instantly turned into his dragon form and struck out the true dragon palm at lightning speed. He knew that someone was testing his strength on purpose. The attacker had obviously held back his strength. Plus, Jiang Chen didn't sense the slightest murderous intent from the attacker, or it should be said that the attacker didn't have any malicious intent. Jiang Chen had specially inquired about the Dragon Hall yesterday. He knew that each and every disciple of the Dragon Hall was a heaven-defying existence. Now that he, a new immortal venerable, was directly recruited by Feng Jingyang, his subordinates naturally wanted to see what kind of ability he had that was worthy of Feng Jingyang's presence. Hung Long. The blazing true dragon palm collided with the golden palm, producing a deafening roar. The entire space in the sky was immediately shattered. The two attacks exploded at the same time, tearing everything apart. Cracks appeared on the ground. However, Jiang Chen didn't budge an inch even after suffering such a powerful attack. His facial expression didn't change at all, as though nothing had happened. Clearly, the powerful attack didn't affect him at all. Good. A voice full of praise resounded from the void. Then, a dozen silhouettes walked out of the void. Each of them was like a ghost. The qi that emanated from their bodies was enough to make one's heart palpitate. Jiang Chen looked over and saw a total of 14 people. There were 4 females and 10 males. All of them seemed to be in their mid-20s. Each of their faces was filled with the unique arrogance of young geniuses. Among them, the lowest cultivation base was at the peak of Immortal Venerable Realm. Apart from the 6 Immortal Venerables, the remaining 8 were powerful half-step sovereigns. Jiang Chen couldn't help but sigh at the sight of such a lineup. He recalled that when Venerable Ling Long was selecting her son-in-law, there were also plenty of geniuses from the Immortal Court. If a genius like the Dragon Hall had appeared, Long Shan wouldn't have been able to deal with it. At least, Long Shan wouldn't have been able to deal with it at that time. Junior brother Jiang. Welcome to the Dragon Hall. A red-clothed woman with coquettish eyes greeted Jiang Chen with a smile. Her attitude was very sincere. The others also smiled at Jiang Chen. In this world where strength was everything, it was obvious that Jiang Chen's performance had won the approval of the disciples of the Dragon Halls. Jiang Chen greets all the senior brothers and sisters. Jiang Chen clasped his fists at them in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. Junior brother Jiang is really a young genius. You're only an intermediate immortal venerable, but you're able to withstand a strike from senior brother Yu Feng. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it even if you beat me to death. That's right. Senior brother Yu Feng is a powerful half-step sovereign expert. His true combat strength is enough to kill an ordinary first-grade great sovereign. Junior brother Jiang is able to withstand a strike from him with his intermediate immortal venerable cultivation base, and doesn't seem to be injured at all. None of us can match such talent. No wonder Master has to show up personally. It seems Master's eyes are as sharp as ever. Junior brother Jiang, from now on, you are an official member of our Dragon Hall. Welcome. Everyone praised Jiang Chen generously. The Dragon Hall had always been united. Jiang Chen had witnessed it today. Apparently, these people didn't have any infighting. All of them were geniuses, very proud, and admired the strong. Jiang Chen had proven himself with his strength, which naturally earned him their approval. Jiang Chen was very satisfied to be able to integrate into such a group. Chapter 1942. Junior brother Jiang. I'm Duan Ren. My hands are itching to see that you can withstand the attack of senior brother Yu Feng so easily. Why don't we have a spar? A youth who seemed to be in his 20s walked out. His name was Duan Ren. The fact that he wanted to spar with Jiang Chen showed that he was also a combative person. Since senior brother Duan is interested, junior brother will certainly keep you company. Jiang Chen spoke. Duan Ren was a combative person, but so was Jiang Chen. From the moment he saw the disciples of Dragon Hall, Jiang Chen couldn't suppress the battle intent in his heart. However, he felt a little embarrassed when he first came here. Now that Duan Ren had taken the initiative to propose a spar, it was exactly what he wanted. As a matter of fact, the one Jiang Chen really wanted to fight wasn't Duan Ren, but Yu Feng. Yu Feng's half-step sovereign cultivation base was enough to fight Jiang Chen, but Duan Ren was merely a peak immortal venerable. No matter how powerful he was, he absolutely wasn't a match for Jiang Chen. As an intermediate immortal venerable, Jiang Chen didn't put Duan Ren in his eyes. Haha, good. Duan Ren laughed loudly. With a sway of his body, he soared into the sky. Powerful chi waves surged out of his body, immediately opening up a huge battlefield. Come on, junior brother Jiang. Duan Ren's battle intent was unparalleled. It seemed like he hadn't experienced a battle for a very long time. Today, he had encountered a powerful junior brother. He couldn't help but feel delighted. Duan Ren, be careful. Don't hurt junior brother Jiang. The red-robed girl spoke. This girl wasn't simple. Apart from her unparalleled beauty, her strength had also reached the terrifying half-step sovereign realm. Her name was Hong Ying, a famous senior sister of Dragon Hall. She usually behaved kindly, but when it came to matters, she was unparalleled. Sister Hong, we will be jealous if you care so much about junior brother Jiang. Duan Ren teased. Nonsense. Hong Ying glared at Duan Ren in annoyance, but she wasn't worried about the battle between Duan Ren and Jiang Chen. Although Duan Ren loved to fight, he was very united. He definitely wouldn't hurt Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen appeared on the battlefield in his dragon form, standing opposite of Duan Ren. He cupped his fists at Duan Ren. Senior brother, sorry for the offense. Junior brother, this transformation skill of yours looks very domineering. However, I advise you not to use it too often. After all, this kind of skill has a huge side effect. If you use it too often, it will affect your future cultivation and affect your foundation. That's right. Duan Ren reminded. Thank you for the reminder, senior brother Duan. However, this transformation skill of mine is a combat state. It won't affect my body in the slightest. Jiang Chen said with a smile. He knew that Duan Ren's words were out of concern for him. From this aspect, Jiang Chen's first impression of Duan Ren was excellent. In fact, everyone in Dragon Hall gave Jiang Chen a good first impression. Although it was his first time in Dragon Hall, he could feel the lively atmosphere here. No one treated him as an outsider. In a sense, this indirectly showed Feng Jingyang's foresight. When Feng Jingyang judged a person, apart from their talent, he also looked at their character. All right, junior brother Jiang. I won't show mercy when I attack later. Duan Ren said with a smile. Senior brother Duan, please go ahead. This disciple will not hold back. Jiang Chen said with a smile. All right. Junior brother, take my world's edge. Along with Duan Ren's shout, the aura on his body rose directly. An ocean-like energy instantly gathered together. He suddenly slashed out with his palm. All the violent energy condensed and turned into an earth-shattering golden saber, slashing at Jiang Chen.
With a single slash of heaven's edge, the gigantic blade radiance seemed as though it was tangible as it tore the void into two.
This guy, he used his trump card as soon as he arrived. What if he hurts junior brother Jiang? Don't worry, he knows what he's doing. Also, don't underestimate junior brother Jiang. Since Master personally brought him back, he must have some skills. I hope he won't get hurt. After all, we're all on the same side. Everyone's facial expression changed slightly when they saw Duan Ren's trump card. They weren't clear about Jiang Chen's strength, but they knew Duan Ren's strength very well, especially the world's edge. No ordinary half-step sovereign was a match for it. No matter how powerful Jiang Chen was, he was merely an intermediate immortal venerable. Golden Dragon Seal. Jiang Chen wasn't afraid at all. He raised his head and looked at the whistling golden blade, then struck out the Golden Dragon Seal. The Golden Dragon Seal was the most lethal among the 5 elemental combat dragon seals. It was the most suitable weapon for a frontal attack. Duan Ren's attack belonged to the purest Yang attribute. Jiang Chen was going to use the same purest Yang attribute to destroy his opponent's attack. Only in that way could he convince his opponent. Roar! The Berserk Dragon roared, and to everyone's horror, the Golden Berserk Dragon suddenly opened its huge mouth and swallowed the broken blade's blade light. Then, the Golden Dragon's momentum did not diminish, and it continued to charge towards the broken blade. What? Duan Ren exclaimed. His facial expression changed instantly. In just an instant, he knew that he had lost. He was no match for Jiang Chen. Roar! Just as the Golden Dragon was about to hit Duan Ren, it disappeared on its own. Obviously, it had been kept away by Jiang Chen. Such a powerful technique was indeed admirable. Senior brother Duan, thank you for letting me win. Jiang Chen clasped his fists at Duan Ren. Duan Ren shook his head helplessly, but there wasn't any sign of frustration on his face. Senior brother Jiang is indeed a rare genius. I admire you, said Duan Ren. Duan Ren said. It was harder than ascending to the heavens to make Duan Ren admit defeat, but after the battle with Jiang Chen, he was sincerely convinced of Jiang Chen's strength. Jiang Chen's strength was undeniable. The faces of Hong Ying and the others were filled with astonishment. Their gazes towards Jiang Chen had changed once again. They were worried that Duan Ren would hurt Jiang Chen, but now, it seemed like their worries were unnecessary. Jiang Chen had already shown mercy by not hurting Duan Ren. Duan Ren wasn't injured by Jiang Chen. It seems like a true monstrous genius has come to our Dragon Hall. With junior brother Jiang's aptitude, I'm afraid that he will surpass big senior brother in the future. That's right. Big senior brother Yu Huafan has reached the terrifying second-grade great sovereign realm at such a young age. He is deeply loved by Master. Judging from junior brother Jiang's performance, it's not impossible for him to surpass big senior brother in the future if he continues to develop like this.
Master's eyesight is still as sharp as ever.
Many of the disciples sighed endlessly. It was truly a rare thing for them to praise someone so generously. Chapter 1943. It seems like there's one more monstrous genius in our Dragon Hall. I think junior brother Jiang isn't enjoying the fight to his heart's content. Why don't I have some fun with junior brother Jiang? 09 Small, say, net. A green-clothed man said. He looked much stronger than Duan Ren. He was a powerful half-step sovereign. He was Yu Feng, the one who attacked Jiang Chen just now. Let's go. Let's go. Senior brother Yu Feng, don't cause trouble. Hong Ying darted a glance at Yu Feng and stopped him. The others, however, burst into laughter. They seemed to have already guessed this. If Duan Ren wasn't a match for Jiang Chen, Yu Feng would certainly attack him. In terms of battle fanaticism, everyone in the Dragon Hall loved to fight, but Yu Feng was undoubtedly the most battle-crazed one. Now that Duan Ren had been defeated, Yu Feng was afraid that he wouldn't be able to sleep well if he didn't challenge Jiang Chen. That's exactly what junior brother wants. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chen agreed. He had already sensed the qi radiating from Yu Feng's body. This mighty half-step sovereign was the one who attacked him just now. Only such a powerful figure could make Jiang Chen exert all his strength to fight. Now that Jiang Chen had advanced to the intermediate immortal venerable realm, he needed an expert like Yu Feng to practice his skills. Therefore, he couldn't ask for more. Junior brother Jiang, are you sure you want to fight this lunatic? Hong Ying reminded Jiang Chen out of kindness, deliberately using the word lunatic to describe Yu Feng. The name lunatic was very famous not only in the Dragon Hall, but also in the entire Immortal Court. The fact that Jiang Chen dared to accept Yu Feng's challenge made everyone admire Jiang Chen's courage. 09 Small, say, net. Thank you for your reminder, Senior Sister Hong Ying. I'm just going to exchange pointers with Senior Brother Yu. I won't hurt him, Jiang Chen said with a smile. What a joke. He couldn't wait to fight Yu Feng. If he took the initiative to challenge Yu Feng, it would make him look too unreserved. It would also make him look too arrogant as a newcomer. It wouldn't be good for his reputation. Now that Yu Feng had taken the initiative to send himself to his doorstep, Jiang Chen had no reason to refuse. That's right. Junior brother Jiang and I are only exchanging pointers. I will definitely show mercy. Hong Ying, why are you so concerned about junior brother Jiang? Yu Feng smiled. Scram. Hong Ying scolded Yu Feng in annoyance. Shwa. Yu Feng's figure flickered and he arrived at the battlefield. As the most battle-hungry person in the Dragon Hall, he was determined to see just how powerful the genius that Feng Jingyang had personally brought back was. How many moves do you think junior brother Jiang can take from senior brother Yu? If you can withstand 3 moves, I'll have a whole new level of respect for junior brother Jiang. That's right. Everyone knows about senior brother Yu's strength. He once fought a first-grade Great Sovereign Realm Elder of the Tiger Hall and defeated him. Everyone admired Yu Feng's strength very much. After all, they knew each other too well. They knew Yu Feng's strength very well. I don't think so. Just wait and see. Junior brother Jiang isn't that easy to deal with. Duanren shook his head and said. He knew Yu Feng's strength, but after the clash with Jiang Chen just now, he had a better understanding of Jiang Chen's combat strength. He secretly compared their strengths and felt that even if Jiang Chen was to face someone like Yu Feng, he would still have the strength to fight him. After listening to Duanren's words, the others were looking forward to this battle. They knew that Duanren wouldn't boast. Since Duanren had said so, it was enough to prove Jiang Chen's strength. In the sky, Yu Feng stood opposite of Jiang Chen. His green robe fluttered in the wind and his powerful aura shook the surrounding void. Senior brother, sorry for offending you. Jiang Chen did not say anything unnecessary. He immediately attacked. The true dragon palm was shot out and shrouded Yu Feng. Good. As the saying goes, experts will know when they attack. As soon as Jiang Chen attacked, Yu Feng's eyes shone with admiration. Yu Feng did not hesitate. He waved his hand and a golden fist appeared. He attacked with all his strength and collided with Jiang Chen's true dragon palm. Rumble. The sky was dark and the ground was dark. The battlefield had been completely destroyed. A single collision had almost turned the entire battlefield into chaos. Below, everyone's eyes fell on the sky, wanting to see what was going on. Very quickly, the airwaves on the battlefield disappeared, and the 2 figures appeared once again. Looking at both of them, they did not move at all, and even their auras did not change in the slightest. However, from this point of view, the battle between the 2 of them was actually a draw. Heavens! Just where did this guy come from? How can he be so heaven-defying? After colliding with senior brother Yu, not to mention being injured, even his aura isn't chaotic at all. He isn't affected at all. It seems that Duanren is right. Junior brother Jiang's strength is far beyond our imagination. It's too scary. Look, it's just the beginning. Senior brother Yu's fighting spirit has already been aroused. If this lunatic goes crazy, it's also very scary. Everyone was shocked. Jiang Chen used the fact that he was strong to make everyone's jaws drop. Everyone's opinion of Jiang Chen changed again. The corner of Duanren's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. After witnessing Jiang Chen's true strength, the last trace of unwillingness in his heart had vanished. He had completely understood that his defeat was absolutely not a coincidence. He was no match for Jiang Chen. Roar! In the sky, Jiang Chen struck once again. This time, he struck out the 5 elemental combat dragon seal. For a moment, the entire battlefield in the sky was filled with colorful dragons, almost forming a dragon domain. They intertwined and circled around each other, sealing the entire battlefield in an instant. Good, junior brother Jiang. You really made me look at you in a new light. Yu Feng's eyes lit up. His whole body was full of fighting spirit. His fighting spirit had been completely aroused. He was completely ignited by Jiang Chen's strength. Yu Feng raised his hands. In between his palms, there was a terrifying energy fluctuation. It quickly condensed into a huge energy mountain. The energy mountain had runes on it. It was incomparably mystical. Following Yu Feng's shout, the huge energy mountain was thrown out by him. It intertwined and collided with the dragons. Rumble. The sky and earth collapsed. If it wasn't for the fact that the battlefield was completely isolated from the outside world, the entire mountain where Dragon Hall was located would have been directly destroyed. Chapter 1944. Haha. Again. Jiang Chen laughed wildly. Shadows of dragons floated around his body. Once again, he launched a frenzied attack at Yu Feng. His mind was completely immersed in the battle. His current combat strength was enough to fight a first-grade great sovereign. Therefore, fighting against a mighty half-step sovereign like Yu Feng was the most suitable way to test his combat strength. Hence, fighting against Yu Feng was the perfect way to test his combat strength. Another madman. AI. There are more and more madmen in our Dragon Hall. I take back what I have said just now. Looking at Jiang Chen's condition, everyone suddenly felt that this Jiang Chen was even more insane than Yu Feng. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. But now that the truth was right in front of them, there was no room for them to doubt it. Jiang Chen's expression changed drastically. Previously, Jiang Chen couldn't withstand more than 3 strikes from Yu Feng. Now he had no choice but to take back what he had said, because it was very likely that the two of them would be equally matched in just 3 strikes. Hong Long Long. In the following period of time, Jiang Chen and Yu Feng exerted all of their skills. After fighting for more than 10 minutes and hundreds of rounds, the final result was still a draw. Neither of them could do anything to the other. In the dark, a pair of eyes was watching everything clearly. It was afraid that there was no one else except Feng Jingyang who was paying close attention to what was happening here. The corner of Feng Jingyang's mouth curved into a smile and nodded secretly. Obviously, he was very satisfied with Jiang Chen's performance. It seems like we have dug out a treasure this time, Feng Jingyang said with a smile. But this Jiang Chen is, after all, a talent recruited by Heaven Sovereign. As far as I know, Jiang Chen was summoned to Heaven Sovereign Palace by Heaven Sovereign the moment he arrived at the Immortal Court yesterday. An elder beside Feng Jingyang said worriedly. He was an elder of the Dragon Hall, a 4th-grade great sovereign with a very high status. So what? Feng Jingyang, only cherished talents and didn't want to be involved in the battle between Heavenly Sovereign and Star Sovereign. Moreover, even if Heavenly Sovereign met Jiang Chen might not necessarily stand on Heavenly Sovereign's side once he learned about the situation in the Immortal Court. Isn't he already in our Dragon Hall? Jiang Chen will definitely become a great person if we nurture him well. Feng Jingyang said. He wasn't a fool. Naturally, he knew that Jiang Chen went to meet Heaven Sovereign. However, in Feng Jingyang's opinion, no matter how heaven-defying Jiang Chen was, he was merely an immortal venerable. He wouldn't be able to play a crucial role in the battle between Star Sovereign and Heaven Sovereign. Feng Jingyang only cherished talents and recruited Jiang Chen into the Dragon Hall. Jiang Chen and Yu Feng fought fiercely for a few more minutes before deciding to stop at the same time. At this point, both of them had a better understanding of each other's strength. They knew that even if they continued to fight, there wouldn't be any result. During the whole battle, neither of them used their trump cards, because even if they did, they still wouldn't be able to determine the winner. In the end, both of them would only suffer heavy injuries. This wasn't the result that either of them wanted to see. After all, they were all disciples of Dragon Heaven, and they shouldn't fight each other to the death. Haha, senior brother Jiang is truly heaven-defying. Yu Feng, admire you. Yu Feng laughed heartily. His admiration was sincere. The others naturally understood what Yu Feng meant. Although both of them seemed to be evenly matched on the surface, Yu Feng had actually lost. The reason was very simple. It was because Jiang Chen's cultivation base was 2 levels lower than Yu Feng's. If both of them were at the same level, there was no doubt that Yu Feng wouldn't be a match for Jiang Chen. Senior brother Yu is smiling. Jiang Chen retracted his dragon form and returned to his original appearance. Looking at his handsome face, no one would have thought that he was a battle maniac, and a heaven-defying one at that. It seems like the second Yu Huafan is going to appear in the Dragon Hall. I think he's going to defeat eldest senior brother. Even eldest senior brother wouldn't be able to do what he did. That's right.
Master's eyes are as sharp as ever.
Everyone sighed. The eldest senior brother of the Dragon Hall, Yu Huafan, had reached the terrifying second-grade Great Sovereign Realm at such a young age. He was the representative of the entire Dragon Hall, but he had yet to return. The arrival of Jiang Chen had instilled new blood into the Dragon Hall, and it was very likely that he would surpass Yu Huafan in the future. Jiang Chen's residence was an independent courtyard, and the environment was very good. That night, in Jiang Chen's courtyard, Hong Ying, Yu Feng and the other geniuses held a welcoming dinner for Jiang Chen. It was a joyous and harmonious scene. The welcoming dinner didn't end until the second half of the night. Then, everyone returned to their respective places. This Dragon Hall is not bad. If we can make use of it, it will definitely affect the situation of the Immortal Court in the future. De Huang Dog spoke. Despite his arrogance, he couldn't help but praise the Dragon Hall. As for Jiang Chen, he was quite satisfied with the fact that he could join the Dragon Hall this time. He had made the right decision. In the dead of night, a figure appeared like a ghost. "Who's there?" Jiang Chen, who was meditating on the big green rock, suddenly opened his eyes and looked to the side. "Your perception is pretty good. You can even sense me." Feng Jingyang nodded and praised. "Hall Master." Jiang Chen smiled. "Now that you've become a disciple of the Dragon Hall, call me Master," Feng Jingyang said. In the Immortal Court, there weren't many people who could call Feng Jingyang Master. "Yes, Master." Jiang Chen smiled bitterly in his heart. It seemed like he had to acknowledge a master every time he went to a sect. It was Tianji Zi in the past, and now it was Feng Jingyang as well. However, Jiang Chen didn't care about the title. He only cared about the person. Feng Jingyang was a person he could definitely befriend. "Jiang Chen, Heaven Sovereign summoned you to Heaven Sovereign Palace yesterday. You should be very clear about the situation of the Immortal Court, right?" asked Feng Jingyang. "Yes, it's very clear." Jiang Chen nodded. He didn't want to hide it because Feng Jingyang wasn't a fool. It was meaningless to hide it in front of him. Moreover, the disciple recruitment was arranged by Heaven Sovereign. He wouldn't be able to hide it from the higher-ups of Heaven Sovereign Palace. "Then what do you plan to do?" asked Feng Jingyang. "Where do you stand, Master?" asked Jiang Chen. "Me? To be honest, I don't want to get involved in the battle between Star Sovereign and Heaven Sovereign. Both of them are capable of becoming Sovereign Lords, but Heaven Sovereign isn't the same as before. The current Immortal Court is no longer the Immortal Court of the past. If Heaven Sovereign were to fight with Star Sovereign, he would definitely lose. Of course, Heaven Sovereign was once the Sovereign Lord of the Immortal Court." Chapter 1945. Jiang Chen understood that Feng Jingyang had once followed Heaven Sovereign. After the fall of Heaven Sovereign, he started following Star Sovereign. In Feng Jingyang's heart, Heaven Sovereign and Star Sovereign were equally important. Feng Jingyang was clear that Star Sovereign and Heaven Sovereign were bound to fight. Therefore he, who was in the middle, could not help either of them. After listening to Feng Jingyang's words, Jiang Chen nodded secretly. As long as Feng Jingyang was not completely loyal to Star Sovereign, there was still a chance. A person like Feng Jingyang had his own way of doing things. He would not be influenced by others, not even Heaven Sovereign and Star Sovereign. He did not like others interfering with what he wanted to do. When Heaven Sovereign returned, Feng Jingyang felt pity for Heaven Sovereign's situation. However, Star Sovereign was not trying to usurp the throne. Back then, Heaven Sovereign had indeed fallen, and Star Sovereign ascended to the throne and became the new Sovereign Lord. Now that Star Sovereign wanted to defend his position, it seemed that there was nothing wrong with it. Since there was nothing wrong with it, Feng Jingyang would not help either of them. "Master, I understand," Jiang Chen said. "Jiang Chen, I don't care what you want to do in the future. From today onwards, you are a member of the Dragon Hall. Cultivate well. I'm afraid your future is immeasurable." Feng Jingyang patted on Jiang Chen's shoulder and disappeared. He came late at night to probe Jiang Chen's choice towards Heaven Sovereign and Star Sovereign. However, after chatting with him, he realized that Jiang Chen was a very opinionated person. If Jiang Chen had decided on something, no one would be able to change it. Feng Jingyang did not think of changing Jiang Chen, because he did not like to be changed by others. He only cherished a genius. This person is worth roping in. After Feng Jingyang left, De Huang Dog said, "That's right. It will be great if we can rope in the Dragon Hall to help Heaven's Sovereign. Dragon Hall's stance will directly affect the stance of the others in the Immortal Court. However, it is difficult to change Feng Jingyang's mindset. We can only take it slow. My current strength is still too weak. Our priority now is to increase my cultivation base." Jiang Chen nodded. It was not an easy task to change Feng Jingyang's mind. However, some things must be done diligently. Feng Jingyang and Dragon Hall's influence in the Immortal Court was too great. There was no doubt that Feng Jingyang and Dragon Hall would have a great impact on the future of the Immortal Court. In the following time, both Jiang Chen and Big Yellow entered the 33rd level and began their secluded cultivation. Ever since Big Yellow had merged with the true body of Demon Sovereign Dragon Sun, his chi had undergone a tremendous change. He also had a very strong foundation. In other words, Big Yellow didn't need to cultivate at all and his cultivation base would gradually increase. To De Huang Dog, all he needed was time. Speaking of time, the 33 levels of the Ancestral Dragon Pagoda had the time law that was 30 times faster than normal. It was the best place to cultivate. Jiang Chen had just taken the Longyang pill yesterday and advanced to the intermediate Immortal Venerable realm. Now, he needed time to digest and consolidate his foundation. The 33rd level was still the best choice for him. 3 days had passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 days, the Dragon Hall was very peaceful. There was almost no trouble. As a matter of fact, the Dragon Hall had always been so peaceful. It was impossible for anyone to cause trouble in the Dragon Hall, because it was already lucky that the people of the Dragon Hall didn't cause trouble. Whoever dared to cause trouble here was no different from courting death. 3 days had passed in the outside world, but 3 months had passed in the Zulong Tower. After 3 months of cultivation, Jiang Chen felt refreshed. Due to the consolidation of his foundation, the remaining medicinal energy of the Longyang grass had been completely digested. Another 10,000 dragon marks had been added to Jiang Chen's Qi Si, increasing the number of dragon marks to 1,070,000. Pai Li Pa Law, a new Great Sovereign Law, emerged above Big Yellow's head. He already had 20 Great Sovereign Laws. Now he had 10 more Great Sovereign Laws, making a total of 30 Great Sovereign Laws. However, he still hadn't advanced to the second grade Great Sovereign Realm, still at the peak of the first grade Great Sovereign Realm. However, given De Huang Dog's current strength, he was afraid that he would be able to kill an ordinary third-grade Great Sovereign. Seeing that De Huang Dog was getting stronger and stronger, Jiang Chen was delighted. The stronger De Huang Dog was, the more help he would get. There was no doubt about it. Besides, Jiang Chen didn't doubt De Huang Dog's strength at all. After all, De Huang Dog was the famous Demon Sovereign Dragon's son in his previous life. Jiang Chen wouldn't be surprised if there were any miracles that happened to him. It should have been 3 days outside. Let's go out for a walk. Jiang Chen spoke. Immediately, a man and a dog walked out of the Zulong Tower with a sway. Compared to 3 days ago, both of them were much stronger, but it still wasn't enough. After all, this was the Immortal Court, not the Immortal Domain. Their current cultivation base wasn't enough to cause any big waves here. However, Jiang Chen also understood that the advancement of one's cultivation base couldn't be done overnight. It needed to be done step by step. Jiang Chen was very satisfied that his cultivation base had reached the intermediate Immortal Venerable realm in such a short period of time. The next advancement of his cultivation base would depend on his luck and fortune. Not long after Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog walked out of the Zulong Tower, they saw 2 silhouettes walking towards them. One of them was Duan Ren, and the other was standing beside him with a flustered look. Jiang Chen's eyes fell upon the person. It was Lu Yishan. "Yishan, what's the matter?" asked Jiang Chen. His intuition told him that something bad must have happened. Otherwise, Lu Yishan wouldn't have come to the Dragon Hall in such a hurry. The Dragon Hall wasn't a place that anyone could enter. Lu Yishan must have told Duan Ren his name, which was why Duan Ren brought him here. "Senior brother Jiang, not long ago, Lu Jian of Leopard Hall went to find trouble with us and injured us. Yang Ming and Wei Yun have been seriously injured and are now in a coma." Lu Yishan spoke. The anger in his eyes was hardly concealed. "What?" Jiang Chen's eyes glinted coldly. When he left, he was confident that no one would find trouble with Lu Yishan and the others, but now it seemed that he was wrong. Entering the Dragon Hall was a great deterrent. Ordinary disciples like Li Song naturally wouldn't dare to find trouble with Lu Yishan and the others. But the Leopard Hall was different. 3 days ago, Elder Yuan Chang of the Leopard Hall had lost his face. It was only normal for the disciples to find trouble with him. Let's go and have a look. Chapter 1946. I'll go with you. Duan Ren could tell that Jiang Chen was infuriated. Ever since he was defeated by Jiang Chen 3 days ago, he had always admired Jiang Chen. Now that he saw that Jiang Chen was going to stand up for his senior and junior brothers, he felt that Jiang Chen was a loyal and fearless person. Naturally, Duan Ren had to help him. The Dragon Hall wasn't close to the residence of Lu Yishan and the others, but it was nothing to Jiang Chen and the others. They could fly there with just a thought. In the courtyard, the others were all crying. There were 2 people lying on the ground. They were Yang Ming and Wei Yun.
At this moment, the 2 of them were in a very bad state.
They were completely unconscious. The injuries on their bodies were very obvious. There were wounds all over their bodies, and blood kept flowing out. The injuries were so severe that it was almost fatal. It had almost harmed their origin. If they couldn't be treated as soon as possible, they were afraid that death would be waiting for them even with their immortal venerable cultivation base. Jiang Chen and the others rushed back and saw such a scene. Senior brother Jiang is back. Senior brother Jiang, you must seek justice for us. That Lu Jian came looking for trouble and injured us without saying a word. Yang Ming and Wei Yun refused to accept it and were almost beaten to death. That's right, senior brother Jiang. We have mentioned your name, but that Lu Jian didn't care at all. Hurry up and see if they can still be saved. When they saw Jiang Chen, they felt as though they had seen their savior. They saw real hope. Don't worry. They won't die. Jiang Chen came to the front of Yang Ming and Wei Yun.
With a wave of his hand, he struck out a large amount of wood spiritual qi.
Under the strong healing effect of the wood spiritual qi, the injuries on their bodies healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Good technique. Duan Ren was astonished. Jiang Chen's healing technique could only be described as earth-shattering. Even miraculous pills wouldn't be able to catch up with such a terrifying recovery speed. Jiang Chen's wood spirit qi kept scouring their bodies for 10 minutes before he stopped. At this time, Wei Yun and Yang Ming's aura were much more stable than before. Yes, but their injuries are quite serious. If they want to completely recover, they will need at least a month. Let's take it easy. Jiang Chen said.
Although the 2 of them had suffered damage to their essence, it was not too serious.
Additionally, he had appeared in time.
Thus, the 3 of them were not in any danger to their lives.
However, they would have to spend a month to recover. All right, since senior brother Jiang has said so, we can rest assured. I'll send them to their rooms to rest first. A disciple carried the 2 of them and walked into one of the rooms. Senior brother Jiang, you have to give us justice. This is just the beginning. Yeah, that Lu Jian is from the Leopard Hall. We can't afford to offend him. Plus, he's strong. Even if we join forces, we're no match for him. Sigh. I didn't expect the battle in the Immortal Court to be so intense. Everyone had a look of worry on their faces. Some of them even started to regret coming to the Immortal Court. In their original sex in the Immortal Realms, they were all elites, peak-level existences. All along they were the ones bullying others. No one had ever dared to bully them. Who would have thought that after coming to the Immortal Court, everything changed? They became existences at the bottom, existences that could be bullied by anyone. How could they not feel depressed? Don't worry. Such a thing will never happen again in the future. Jiang Chen patted the shoulder of one of them, then turned and walked towards the exit. De Huang, Duan Ren, follow me to the Leopard Hall. Kaka. De Huang dog laughed excitedly. His mood was very high. The thing that this guy feared the most was to stay idle. Awesome. Duan Ren gave a thumbs up to Jiang Chen, then followed closely behind. He could see that Jiang Chen was going to break into the Leopard Hall alone. This was the first time that such a big incident had happened. Moreover, the people of the Dragon Hall were never afraid of trouble. Duan Ren took the lead and flew towards the Leopard Hall. What's the cultivation base of that Lu Jian? Jiang Chen asked curiously. Late Immortal Venerable. About the same as me, but he's no match for me in a real fight. Although the Leopard Hall has a lot of geniuses, their overall quality is incomparable to our Dragon Hall. Duan Ren spoke proudly. Although his words were boastful, they weren't boasting. Jiang Chen had witnessed Duan Ren's strength. Very few geniuses of the same level could suppress Duan Ren. Very quickly, under Duan Ren's lead, Jiang Chen and a Huang Dog arrived at the mountain peak of the Leopard Hall. The size of the Leopard Hall was similar to the Dragon Hall, occupying a huge mountain peak. Lu Jian, get your ass out here. Get your ass out here. Get your ass out here. Come here. Jiang Chen circulated his qi and transformed into his dragon form. His voice was transmitted through sound waves, reverberating in the sky. Not only the Leopard Hall, but more than half of the immortal court could hear it clearly. Jiang Chen never cared about making a big fuss. The more he stirred up the stagnant water in the immortal court, the better. Initially, he didn't know how to stir it up, but Lu Jian had given him a justifiable reason. In that case, Jiang Chen naturally wouldn't miss this opportunity. Now that he had the support of the Dragon Hall, he didn't have to worry about anything. According to Duan Ren, the way the Dragon Hall handled things was fearless. It had always been the people of the Dragon Hall who bullied others. If the people of the Dragon Hall were bullied, they would definitely seek revenge. Lu Jian had hurt Yang Ming and Wei Yun, which was equivalent to bullying Jiang Chen. As a new disciple of the Dragon Hall, Jiang Chen had to seek justice. Otherwise, it would damage the dignity of the Dragon Hall. If the other disciples of the Dragon Hall knew about this, they would certainly look down on him. So. As soon as Jiang Chen's voice faded, silhouettes flew out from the Leopard Hall one after another. Who dares to make a fuss in our Leopard Hall? Are you tired of living? A disciple berated. He was clad in black armor and looked mighty and domineering, but his cultivation base was only at the peak of intermediate immortal venerable realm. He hadn't even reached the late immortal venerable realm. Jiang Chen finally understood why the Dragon Hall was the first hall. It was true that the number of disciples in the Dragon Hall was much lesser than the Leopard and Tiger Halls, but the quality was incomparable. In the Dragon Hall, there was almost no one below the late immortal venerable realm. I'm Jiang Chen. Ask Lu Jian to come out and face his death. Chapter 1947. Courting Death. The disciple who shouted earlier was infuriated. A dazzling combat weapon appeared in his hand and he slashed at Jiang Chen. He didn't care who the other party was. The Leopard Hall had given him great confidence and superiority. In his mind, anyone who dared to cause trouble in Leopard Hall deserved to die. Fuck you. Jiang Chen kicked the disciple's chest impatiently. The disciple let out a blood-curdling scream and was sent flying. It was unknown how far the kick had sent the disciple flying, but he was already nowhere to be seen. What a joke. An intermediate immortal venerable dared to show off in front of Jiang Chen? Wasn't he courting death? Jiang Chen had already shown mercy when he kicked the disciple just now. Otherwise, the disciple would have been dead by now. Even so, the kick was enough for him to lie in bed for 3 months. It was almost impossible for him to recover in a short period of time. Since Lu Jian isn't coming out, I'll just kill my way in. Jiang Chen strode towards the mountain peak of Leopard Hall. Those who tried to stop Jiang Chen were all sent flying by Jiang Chen's slap. Domineering. Duan Ren, who was standing behind Jiang Chen, began to admire Jiang Chen from the bottom of his heart. He really liked Jiang Chen's way of doing things. Jiang Chen was truly fearless. When his temper flared up, he wouldn't care who the person was. Anyone who stood in his way would be beaten up. Dong, after slapping away 5 to 6 disciples of Leopard Hall, Jiang Chen's footsteps landed heavily on the mountain peak where Leopard Hall was located. For a moment, the entire mountain peak was shaking. Large cracks appeared on the ground, and the palace at the front collapsed with a loud bang. Violent and domineering, Jiang Chen had displayed his strength to the fullest. He was going to alarm the entire Leopard Hall. So. One after another, tyrannical figures flew out of the Leopard Hall. All of them were genius disciples and there were many half-step sovereigns among them. All of them were furious. The Leopard Hall had existed for a long time. Except for Yu Huafan, no one had ever dared to cause trouble in the Leopard Hall. This kid who came out of nowhere actually destroyed their building. This was equivalent to publicly slapping Leopard Hall in the face. This time, how could the people of Leopard Hall bear it? Who are you? A half-step great emperor berated loudly. Dragon Hall Jiang Chen. Hand over Lu Jian. Jiang Chen went straight to the point and did not beat around the bush. Jiang Chen, Duan Ren, don't go too far. Don't think that your Dragon Hall can be lawless in the Immortal Court. The half-step Great Emperor's face was full of anger. It seemed like he was going to attack at any moment. If we're talking about lawless, it should be your Leopard Hall. Lu Jian has hurt the new disciple, which means that he's not giving me, Jiang Chen, and the Dragon Hall any face at all. Today, I, Jiang Chen, am going to seek justice for my junior brothers and sisters. Hand over Lu Jian. Otherwise, I'm going to create havoc in the Leopard Hall. Jiang Chen was incomparably domineering. Motherfucker! It's this Jiang Chen again. This bastard is too ferocious. He has already done something big 3 days ago. How dare he create havoc in the Leopard Hall today? Yeah, he's too arrogant. He's too audacious, but I admire him very much. Lu Jian is to be blamed for this. He provoked those newcomers just because he's a disciple of the Leopard Hall. I heard that he injured 2 of them. It's no wonder that Jiang Chen is angry. Plus, the current Jiang Chen is no longer the same Jiang Chen 3 days ago. Not only does he possess terrifying strength, but he's also a disciple of the Dragon Hall. Naturally, he isn't afraid of the Leopard Hall. Many people had already gathered in the surroundings. Such a huge commotion would naturally attract a lot of attention. Jiang Chen had become the focus of countless eyes since the first day he appeared in the Immortal Court. Today's havoc in the Leopard Hall had pushed his fame to the peak. Jiang Chen, don't be so arrogant. Don't you know what kind of place this is? At this time, a man shouted and pointed at Jiang Chen. Who are you? Asked Jiang Chen coldly. I'm Lu Jian. Those 2 trash have disrespected me. Naturally, they have to accept my punishment. They can only blame themselves for being weak. Offending me is a dead end.
If they weren't the disciples of the Immortal Court, they would have been dead by now.
Lu Jian spoke arrogantly. This was the territory of the Leopard Hall. He wasn't afraid of Jiang Chen at all. Moreover, he was very confident in his cultivation base. He felt that he had the strength to fight Jiang Chen. Even if he couldn't defeat Jiang Chen wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Is that so? Said Jiang Chen.
Then, he turned into a whirlwind of nothingness and disappeared in the blink of an eye.
In the next moment, he appeared beside Lu Jian. Not good. Lu Jian sighed inwardly.
He could feel an extremely violent energy enshrouding him. Under the shroud of this energy, it was incomparably difficult for him to move, let alone resist or escape.
At this moment, Lu Jian realized that he had truly underestimated Jiang Chen. The gap between him and Jiang Chen wasn't just a little bit. Now that he was shrouded by Jiang Chen's energy, he suddenly felt isolated. Even though there were so many experts around him, he still felt like he was alone. Swoosh! Jiang Chen grabbed Lu Jian's neck, and with a sway of his body, he came to the place where he attacked, standing opposite to the disciples of Leopard Hall. What? The people of Leopard Hall exclaimed. They couldn't even see how Jiang Chen attacked from such a close distance. That speed had already reached the level of earth-shattering. More importantly, Lu Jian, a late immortal venerable, didn't even have the slightest chance to resist. Damn it! How did he do it? What kind of heaven-defying identity is that? It's too fast. Where did this brat come from? Another monstrous genius has appeared in the Dragon Hall.
Each of the disciples of the Leopard Hall had an unpleasant look on their faces.
Until now, they still couldn't accept this fact. Many of them were still thinking about how Jiang Chen attacked and how his speed could be so fast. Even Duan Ren, who was standing at the back, couldn't help but grin. He finally understood that Jiang Chen had gone easy on him during the battle with Jiang Chen. This newcomer who was chosen by Feng Jingyang was far more terrifying than he had imagined. Jiang Chen, let him go. This is the Leopard Hall, not a place for you to behave atrociously. The half-step sovereign shouted once more, using a commanding tone to ask Jiang Chen to let them go. Chapter 1948. Release him? You are thinking too much. Jiang Chen didn't put the half-step sovereign in his eyes at all. Given his eyesight, he could naturally see through the half-step sovereign at first glance. Although they were both half-step sovereigns, this person was a level lower than Yu Feng. Even if they were to fight, Jiang Chen wouldn't care. As for Lu Jian, he had to pay a heavy price for doing something wrong. Jiang Chen. What are you doing? This is Leopard Hall. Sensing the pressure and killing intent from Jiang Chen, Lu Jian's facial expression changed completely. His eyes were filled with fear. Under Jiang Chen's control, he couldn't even move an inch. Even though he had heard that Jiang Chen had sent a half-step sovereign flying with a punch, he still couldn't believe it without seeing it with his own eyes. Therefore, he didn't put too much attention on Jiang Chen. But now, Jiang Chen had made him understand how foolish and ignorant his previous thoughts and actions were. Lu Jian was extremely shocked. He was a late immortal venerable expert after all. Now that he had fallen into the hands of an opponent whose cultivation base was weaker than him, he couldn't even move a little. This was a kind of irony, but it was already too late for him to realize this. Now, he could only pray that Jiang Chen wouldn't dare to attack him because of the pressure from Leopard Hall. However, perhaps Lu Jian also understood that this extravagant hope of his was probably just an extravagant hope. Since Jiang Chen dared to break into Leopard Hall alone, he might not be afraid of Leopard Hall. Besides, Jiang Chen had already sent numerous disciples flying and destroyed a building of Leopard Hall. What else could Lu Jian hope for when he was faced with such a courageous person? Don't use Leopard Hall to pressure me, Lu Jian. You have to pay the price for doing something wrong. It's better not to stir up trouble without absolute strength. Jiang Chen's face was indifferent. Then, he struck Lu Jian's Qi with lightning speed. Bang! Pooh! With a loud bang, Lu Jian spat out a mouthful of blood. It was as if he had suffered a great deal of pain, and his face was distorted. Everyone could feel that the immortal qi in Lu Jian's Qi was rapidly draining away, like a punctured balloon. In the blink of an eye, it was completely drained away. Jiang Chen, you crippled me. After realizing his own situation, Lu Jian fell into complete despair. He had never thought that Jiang Chen would be so ruthless and cripple him. To a mighty cultivator, being crippled was far more painful than being killed. It was a kind of unbearable pain that made him wish he was dead. In particular, a figure like Lu Jian, who had reached the late immortal venerable realm at such a young age and was a disciple of Leopard Hall, had an extraordinary status and identity. He was admired and envied by countless of ordinary disciples. No matter where he went, he would be treated with respect. To put it bluntly, he was already at the top of the pyramid. Now that he had been thrown down from the top of the pyramid, the despair he felt was incomprehensible to ordinary people. Lu Jian was a disciple of Leopard Hall. Pooh! Once again, Lu Jian spurted out a mouthful of blood and fainted. This was all because of his anger. At this moment, Lu Jian was in complete despair. Jiang Chen's palm strike had made him understand the true meaning of despair. Jiang Chen, you're courting death. On the other side, the half-step sovereign expert was furious. Since the establishment of the Leopard Hall, no one had ever dared to act so wildly here. He even crippled a genius of the Leopard Hall in front of so many disciples. This was a slap to the Leopard Hall's face. Hong! The half-step sovereign's qi billowed. He transformed into a ferocious wild beast and lunged at Jiang Chen. Humph! Jiang Chen harumphed coldly and threw Lu Jian down. Then, a golden dragon whizzed out and rushed towards the savage beast. Although this disciple of Leopard Hall was also a half-step sovereign, he had just advanced to the half-step sovereign realm. His cultivation base wasn't stable yet. He wasn't even on the same level as Yu Feng. Jiang Chen didn't care about him at all. Hung Long! The golden dragon collided with the wild beast. Violent energy rolled out, destroying the entire void. Under the impact of the golden dragon, the incomparably powerful wild beast was instantly destroyed. The half-step sovereign was greatly shaken. He couldn't help but take a few steps back to stabilize his body. What? The man exclaimed and stared at Jiang Chen with eyes full of disbelief. In his eyes, Jiang Chen was merely an intermediate immortal venerable while he was a mighty half-step sovereign who was 2 levels higher than Jiang Chen. How could he accept that he was defeated under such circumstances? You're right. You're right. You're right. So this is what a genius of Leopard Hall is capable of. If you go looking for trouble in the future, I won't show any mercy. Lu Jian is your example. Jiang Chen spoke loudly, then turned to leave. He had already achieved his goal by crippling Lu Jian. He had avenged Yang Ming and Wei Yun's resentment. Furthermore, he wasn't arrogant enough to fight the entire Leopard Hall alone. Jiang Chen, do you think you can leave so easily after injuring my men? Another yell was heard. Another half-step sovereign genius walked out of the Leopard Hall. He was much stronger than the previous one. As soon as he appeared, he launched a decisive attack at Jiang Chen. A huge palm as large as the sky enveloped Jiang Chen like a cage. Since you won't let me go, I won't leave. Jiang Chen's battle intent was unparalleled. He was infuriated. He had always been fearless, especially when it came to battles. Once his blood was stimulated, he would go crazy and disregard everything. Just like now, he was about to leave, but the Leopard Hall didn't give him a chance to leave. In that case, Jiang Chen might as well not leave. Since they wanted to fight, he might as well fight to his heart's content. After all, he was now a disciple of the Dragon Hall with a powerful backer, so he wasn't afraid of the Leopard Hall. Clang! The Heavenly Saint's sword turned into a dazzling dragon, rippling in Jiang Chen's hand. Then, under Jiang Chen's control, it slashed at the half-step sovereign's attack. Hung Long! It was an earth-shattering slash that contained almost all of Jiang Chen's energy. It was enough to tear the opponent's attack apart. Fusion of dragon and sword. Chapter 1949. So powerful. Duan Ren was shocked when he saw Jiang Chen's move. When he fought with Yu Feng, both of them had held back. Therefore, Duan Ren had always doubted Jiang Chen's true strength. Now that he saw Jiang Chen's dragon sword unification, he finally had a better understanding of Jiang Chen's strength. He even believed that Yu Feng might not be a match for Jiang Chen in a life-and-death battle. Rumble! All the attacks of the half-step Emperor expert were completely destroyed by Jiang Chen's sword. After destroying his opponent's attack, Jiang Chen's sword attack did not decrease. At the same time, he displayed the Great Void technique and appeared behind the half-step Emperor expert like a ghost. Not good. The half-step Emperor expert of the Leopard Hole shouted inwardly. An ice-cold killing intent and chill came from his back. Jiang Chen's speed was too fast. So fast that he didn't even have the chance to react. Chila! The combat sword slashed at the half-step sovereign's body with unerring accuracy. Even so, Jiang Chen's sword had left a bone-deep wound on his back. The sword chi had also entered his body, causing great damage to him. Jiang Chen's sword had slashed at the half-step sovereign's body with unerring accuracy. It could be imagined that if the half-step emperor had reacted a little slower, his intestines would have been cut open. You want to stop me with such little ability? The geniuses of your Leopard Hall are really disappointing. Jiang Chen instantly returned to his half-human half-dragon form. The sword in his hand emitted a fiery light, giving off a domineering feeling. It was a powerful deterrent. One sword was enough to stun everyone present. Just like now, everyone's eyes were filled with horror. No one dared to believe such a scene. How can this monstrous genius be so terrifying? That's a half-step Emperor expert of the Leopard Hole, but he couldn't even take one move from him. Damn, the Dragon Hall has picked up a treasure again. Moreover, the more domineering and heaven-defying he is, the more Feng Jingyang will like him. Even if he comes to the Leopard Hall to act arrogantly and injure people, Feng Jingyang will protect him. That's right. The Leopard Hall has always been domineering. Feng Jingyang is famous for being protective of his disciples. Moreover, this incident started because Lu Jianxiu injured a new disciple. Jiang Chen is in the right. The Dragon Hall's domineering nature is not worthy of a reward. Moreover, Jiang Chen is in the right now. Everyone was shocked by Jiang Chen's powerful performance. Many of them had witnessed Jiang Chen's ability 3 days ago, but now, it seemed like that wasn't Jiang Chen's full strength. Voila! All the disciples of the Leopard Hall moved. More than a dozen of them surrounded Jiang Chen and Duan Ren. De Huang Dog stood outside the circle and watched the show leisurely. It was a conflict between the disciples of the Dragon Hall and the Leopard Hall. There was no need for him to intervene. He believed that Jiang Chen would be able to handle it. If the Leopard Hall sent an elder-level great sovereign, De Huang Dog wouldn't be polite. The current De Huang Dog was completely different from how he was 3 days ago. His great sovereign law had increased by 10. An ordinary third-grade great sovereign was no match for him. Jiang Chen, Duan Ren, you two are too arrogant. You came to our Leopard Hall to cause trouble and injure people. Do you really think that there's no one in our Leopard Hall? A mighty half-step sovereign shouted at Jiang Chen and Duan Ren with a soaring chi. Among the group of people that surrounded Jiang Chen and Duan Ren, there were 4 half-step sovereigns and the rest were late immortal venerables. Such a lineup could no longer be described as domineering. In the entire immortal court, these people were the true geniuses. If they were ordinary disciples, they would have wet their pants in fear.
In the entire Immortal Court, it was afraid that only the disciples of the Dragon Hall would have the guts to injure people in the Leopard Hall.
Don't put labels on us. We're just here to seek justice. If you want to fight, we'll gladly oblige.
Jiang Chen spoke, his face showing no sign of fear in the face of the dozen of people.
That's right.
The Dragon Hall has never been afraid of causing trouble. The chi waves on Duan Ren's body began to roll.
His battle intent soared.
As a disciple of the Dragon Hall, he never knew what cowardice was. Let's attack together and let them know the power of the Leopard Hall. A disciple of the Leopard Hall said, gritting his teeth.
So many people bullying the two of them.
Your Leopard Hall is really powerful.
Just at this time, a voice was heard from afar.
Then, everyone saw a dozen powerful silhouettes flying over from afar.
The leader was clad in red. She was Hong Ying of the Dragon Hall.
The people of the Dragon Hall are here. There's going to be a great battle between the two halls. Each and every one of the people of the Dragon Hall is arrogant.
They won't be easy to deal with.
Although the number of people in the Dragon Hall is small, each and every one of them is a freak.
Even the Tiger Hall and Leopard Hall wouldn't dare to provoke them.
At this critical moment, the people of the Dragon Hall had appeared. The situation seemed to be more serious than they had imagined. Given the temper of these geniuses, a single word of disagreement would cause a war between the two halls. In the blink of an eye, Hong Ying and Yu Feng brought the people from Dragon Hall to the front. They emitted a powerful aura that forced the disciples from Leopard Hall to retreat. As the saying went, a person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Dragon Hall had always been arrogant and overbearing. Even though they were in Leopard Hall's territory, the people from Leopard Hall seemed to be lacking in confidence. Does the Leopard Hall have any shame? So many people bullying two people is simply bullshit.
Zhang Yao, aren't you very arrogant? If you have the guts, come and fight with me. Yu Feng started scolding.
Even though he was standing in front of the gate of the Leopard Hall, he still dared to scold. The person he pointed out was the one who was about to attack Jiang Chen. The Dragon Hall is getting more and more arrogant.
Do you really think that the Leopard Hall is afraid of you? Today, Jiang Chen came here to hurt people.
He has already tarnished the reputation of the Leopard Hall. We can't let this matter go.
Zhang Yao also acted tough.
He was now the representative of the Leopard Hall. If he didn't act tough, the Leopard Hall would really have no place to put its face.
If we can't let this matter go, then let's fight. Hong Ying was also a heroic person. If there was a disagreement, she would start a fight. Let's fight.
Why would we be afraid of them?
Today, let's completely shatter the arrogance of the Dragon Hall. That's right. Don't you know what kind of place this is? Come on, let's fight. Chapter 1950. Hung Long.
Innumerable waves of chi began to roll, forming a battlefield in the sky above the Leopard Hall. The Dragon Hall and the Leopard Hall were standing opposite each other with unparalleled battle intent.
My God! They are really going to fight. It seems like they are going to fight.
The Dragon Hall has always been overbearing. In order to protect Jiang Chen and Duan Ren, they will definitely take action. Although the Leopard Hall isn't as powerful as the Dragon Hall, it's still one of the three great halls of the Immortal Court. If they remain indifferent to Jiang Chen's attack, they will be laughed at and looked down upon by the outsiders. If they don't vent their anger, they will never be able to raise their heads in front of the Dragon Hall. The Leopard Hall is defending their dignity. They have to fight. These guys are all heaven-defying existences. I wonder how big the commotion will be if they really fight. Both the Dragon Hall and the Leopard Hall have great sovereign-level disciples, but they haven't shown up yet.
Those who have reached that level won't show up easily.
For an existence like Yu Huafan, he won't be interested in the battle between disciples. If he shows up, it will only lower his status.
Everyone was excited.
One should know that although the three great halls of the Immortal Court didn't get along well with each other, there had never been a large-scale battle. It was the first time that 20 to 30 disciples were going to fight each other. No matter what the outcome was, it was still exciting. It had only been 3 days since Jiang Chen arrived in the Immortal Court, but he had already been known by all the disciples. On his first day, he had attracted Feng Jingyang's attention and accepted him as a disciple of the Dragon Hall. Today, he had barged into the Leopard Hall alone, injuring people and crippling Lu Jian. His behavior was extremely arrogant and despotic. He didn't put the leopard hall in his eyes at all. Although the Dragon Hall was arrogant, it was the first one to be so arrogant. In the past, Yu Huafan had barged into the leopard hall, but he was a powerful second-grade great sovereign, an outstanding figure among the young generation of the immortal court. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him the #1 genius. What was Jiang Chen? He was merely an intermediate immortal venerable disciple and a newcomer. His strength was simply explosive. Yun Yang, your leopard hall is getting bolder. You actually dare to duel with us? Yu Feng said with a sneer. The leader of the leopard hall was called Yun Yang. His cultivation base was on par with Yu Feng. His reputation in the immortal court was also on par with Yu Feng. The two of them had always been rivals. Now, he was the representative figure of the Dragon Hall and Leopard Halls. Humph! Your Dragon Hall has gone too far. How dare you fight in front of our Leopard Hall? Do you really think our Leopard Hall is easy to bully? Today, unless Jiang Chen leaves behind an arm, we will not let this matter rest. Yun Yang snorted coldly. His performance was incomparably domineering. It seemed like he was going to fight it out with Long Tang today. However, Yun Yang had no other choice. He naturally knew that the people of Dragon Hall weren't easy to deal with. Putting aside Yu Feng, Hong Ying was also a very tricky figure to deal with. However, he had no choice but to step forward now because today's incident had already attracted a lot of spectators. If he flinched after being attacked, he wouldn't only be losing face, but the entire Leopard Hall. He couldn't afford to lose face like this. Once he lost his arm, Dragon Hall would become more and more arrogant in the future. They would look down on Leopard Hall more and more. Today's incident would even leave a shadow in the hearts of the disciples of Leopard Hall, making them feel inferior when they saw the people of Dragon Hall in the future. In that case, there's nothing else to say. Let's see who's stronger. Yu Feng was known as a madman. He was a man who loved to fight. It was impossible for his opponent to take away one of Jiang Chen's arms. Since that was the case, there was nothing else to say. Long Tang had never been afraid of anyone before. Yu Feng was a madman who loved to fight. Hong Long. Yu Feng was the first to make a move. He carried a frightening wave of qi that covered the sky as he rushed towards Yun Yang. On the opposite side, Yun Yang wasn't to be outdone either. In the blink of an eye, he and Yu Feng were engaged in a fierce battle. The two old rivals were locked in a stalemate. Fight! Duan Ren's imposing manner was like a rainbow. He casually chose an opponent and struck out with the heavens-breaking cliff. Hee, it's been a long time since I fought. It seems like I can have a painful battle today. Hong Ying giggled. A red silk appeared in her hand. With a casual flick, it flew towards a half-step sovereign expert of Leopard Hall like a fiery red dragon. On the other side, a half-step sovereign was charging at Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen wasn't afraid at all. He slashed out with the Heavenly Saint's sword. Given his current combat strength, half-step sovereigns were nothing in his eyes. These half-step sovereigns were geniuses of the immortal court. If they were ordinary half-step sovereigns, he would have killed them in a single move. If Jiang Chen were to fight against someone like Li Wangya wouldn't be able to withstand a single move from Jiang Chen. The battle between Jiang Chen and Yu Feng when they first entered the Dragon Hall ended in a draw. Therefore, unless a great sovereign genius appeared in Leopard Hall, no one could do anything to Jiang Chen. Hong Long. The entire sky was tainted by the terrifying combat strength. The heaven and earth shook. The void of the entire immortal court was ravaged. The geniuses of the two halls were locked in a fierce battle. It was the first time such a large-scale battle had occurred in the immortal court. On the other side, De Huang Dog was wagging his sturdy tail as if he was watching a show. He had no intention of joining the battle. After all, this was a battle between the young disciples of the two halls. It wouldn't be appropriate for him to join the battle. Furthermore, if De Huang Dog chose to join the battle, it would be the doomsday for the disciples of Leopard Hall. There was no need for them to continue the battle. De Huang Dog had 30 great sovereign laws now. Even an ordinary third-grade great sovereign might not be a match for him. However, his presence here was enough to deter others. The current situation of the battle was obvious. Although Leopard Hall had more disciples, their overall strength wasn't as monstrous as Dragon Hall. So if the battle continued, Leopard Hall would be the one to suffer. As for Jiang Chen, De Huang Dog wasn't worried at all. Given Jiang Chen's current strength, it would be hard for him to be injured. De Huang Dog had made up his mind. If there was a great sovereign elder in Leopard Hall, he would join the battle. If there wasn't, he would just sit back and watch the show. In any case, Jiang Chen wouldn't suffer any losses. Hong Long. The battle was incomparably fierce. Everyone in Leopard Hall must have been alerted, but there was neither a great sovereign genius disciple nor a powerful elder. It seemed like the internal department of Leopard Hall had acquiesced to the battle between the young disciples. After all, it was a matter of face. A genius disciple like Yu Huafan wouldn't join the battle, so it wasn't appropriate for an elder to join the battle. Along with a blood-curdling scream, a disciple of Leopard Hall's arm was broken by a broken blade, and he was sent flying away. For the fastest and error-free novel reading, please visit Chapter 1951. Haha, Leopard Hall is just a... Do you think you can fight our Dragon Hall with just this? Duan Ren laughed heartily. After sending one of them flying, he charged towards the other groups. On the other side, Hong Ying's opponent was also being suppressed by Hong Ying. He didn't have much strength to fight back. Yun Yang was also having a hard time fighting against Yu Feng. As for Jiang Chen's side, it was needless to say that he was beating the half-step sovereign genius with a single sword. Even the half-step sovereign expert of Leopard Hall was in such a state, let alone the others. Not long after the battle began, the morale of Leopard Hall began to wane. The strength of the Dragon Hall was well known. The people of the Leopard Hall were originally timid, and now they had lost the fighting spirit they had at the beginning. It's obvious that Leopard Hall is no match for them. That's right. Although they have more people, they are no match for the ferocity of the Dragon Hall. Let's not talk about Yu Feng and Hong Ying. Look at that Jiang Chen. He is even more monstrous than Yu Huafan. His current cultivation base is merely at the intermediate immortal venerable realm, but his combat strength is scarier than a half-step sovereign. One should know that none of those half-step sovereigns are easy to deal with. All of them are existences that can fight first-grade great sovereigns. Doesn't that mean that Jiang Chen has the combat strength of a first-grade great sovereign, even though he is only at the intermediate immortal venerable realm? What kind of monstrous genius is he? That's right. He's too heaven-defying. No wonder Feng Jingyang thinks so highly of him. As long as he is given time to grow, he will surpass Yu Huafan sooner or later and become the #1 genius of the Immortal Court. Look, the momentum of Leopard Hall is getting weaker and weaker. Each and every one of the Dragon Hall is a battle maniac. Leopard Hall won't be able to hold on any longer. Dragon Hall's position in the Immortal Court is unshakable. Even the Sovereign Lord has to give Feng Jingyang some face. Of course. Who doesn't know Feng Jingyang's temper? He will do anything if he is provoked. Plus, his cultivation base has already reached the peak of the 5th-grade Great Sovereign Realm. He is the last hope of the Immortal Court to advance to the 6th-grade Great Sovereign Realm. Once he becomes a 6th-grade Great Sovereign, he will become a first-class figure in the Immortal Court. The number of onlookers increased and the voices of discussion increased. The strength of the Dragon Hall made everyone feel helpless. The importance of the Dragon Hall in the Immortal Court was getting more and more important. Moreover, the people that were trained by Feng Jingyang had the same temperament as Feng Jingyang. Stop! At this moment, a loud shout was heard from the interior of the Leopard Hall. Then, an old man with an incomparably powerful aura flew out. He was a powerful 3rd-grade Great Sovereign. Hall. Unfortunately, the deterrence of a 3rd-grade Great Sovereign didn't seem to be much. Just as the elder shouted, Jiang Chen sent his opponent flying with a kick, and then charged towards the other person with his sword. He didn't put the 3rd-grade Great Sovereign in his eyes at all, as if the opponent didn't exist. Seeing that Jiang Chen had no intention of stopping, Yu Feng and the others also continued to attack. Once again, they clashed with the people of Leopard Hall. Very well. Your Dragon Hall's little brats are becoming more and more outrageous. You don't even take this old man's words to heart. Since you are so disrespectful to me, I will teach you a lesson. The 3rd-grade Great Sovereign Elder's face was filled with anger, and his heart was incomparably gloomy. He was a 3rd-grade Great Sovereign, an elder of Leopard Hall, and had a supreme position in the Immortal Court. Usually, every disciple would show respect to him. But now, a group of youngsters had turned a deaf ear to his words and completely looked down on him. This had greatly reduced his sense of existence, and he felt that he had lost a lot of face. How could he not be angry? Swoosh. However, just as the elder was about to move, a ray of golden light suddenly appeared in front of him like a ghost.
Old man, why are you getting involved in the fight between the youngsters? Don't you know what shame is?
The one who spoke was none other than De Huang Dog, who had been squatting at the side.
The reason why Jiang Chen ignored the elder was because De Huang Dog was still there. He wholeheartedly wanted to help Heaven's sovereign. That was why he wanted the immortal court to be in chaos. The bigger the conflict, the better. As long as Jiang Chen was given a chance, he would definitely make the situation worse. Looking at De Huang Dog, many of them recalled what had happened that day. It seemed that this dog had sent Li Song's grandfather, Li Yuan, flying with his head. One should know that Li Yuan was a second-grade great sovereign. Even though the one who had appeared was a third-grade great sovereign, no one dared to look down on this dog. Everyone knew that this dog was a true demon, the Arch. Who would dare to underestimate a powerful demon, the Arch? Unless they didn't want to live anymore. Where did this dog come from? Get lost. The elder was infuriated instantly. Given his status, he was already angry enough when a group of youngsters ignored him.
Now, a dog had appeared out of nowhere and dared to stand in his way.
This was simply a humiliation to him. The elder waved his hand and slapped at De Huang Dog's head. In his opinion, this slap was enough to smash the dog's head into pieces, leaving no chance for the dog to dodge. Unexpectedly, De Huang Dog didn't even have the intention to dodge. He bared his teeth and slammed his head against the elder's palm. This action almost angered the elder to death. Motherfucker, you're not giving me any face at all. You don't even have a sense of existence. A dog actually dared to use its head to block my attack. Even if you don't want to live anymore, you should at least leave me some face so that I can show off a little. The elder secretly made up his mind to smash the dog's head into pieces. Only then would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart and establish his dignity. Bang! However, when the third-grade great sovereign's palm landed heavily on De Huang Dog's head, a sound of iron being struck was heard, and even sparks were produced. The scene of the dog's head being smashed did not happen. Instead, the third-grade great sovereign felt that his palm was going numb, as if cracks were about to appear on it. What? The elder exclaimed on the spot. His eyes stared at De Huang Dog in front of him without blinking, as if he had seen a ghost. The head had always been the weakest part of a human, even if it was a demon beast. Moreover, the dog's cultivation base was only at the first-grade great sovereign realm during the collision just now, but its head was way too tough. Motherfucker! Do you really think that you can smash Master Dog's head? You're overestimating yourself. De Huang Dog's battle intent was unparalleled. He shook his huge head and charged towards the elder once again. I don't believe it. The elder was furious. Once again, he launched a powerful attack. His target was still the De Huang Dog's head. For the fastest novel reading, please visit Chapter 1952. Clang Clang. The following battle made everyone dumbfounded. De Huang Dog didn't use any other moves. It was just an indestructible dog head that kept colliding with the powerful attacks of the third-grade great sovereign. Sparks flew everywhere. In the end, the third-grade great sovereign didn't even have the slightest bit of anger. He had exerted almost all of his strength, but not only did he fail to cause any damage to De Huang Dog's head, he even felt uncomfortable from the impact. Motherfucker! The elder was about to vomit blood. He had come out with the intention of ending this battle, but who would have thought that he would also fall into it? If he fell into it, then so be it. It was fine even if he won. But now, he had used all his strength, but he couldn't do anything to a dog. This was really too embarrassing. Come on. What kind of dog is this? How can he be so powerful? Even a third-grade great sovereign can't do anything to him. Amazing. No wonder Jiang Chen is so arrogant. He actually has such a heaven-defying demon sovereign by his side. It's really enviable. It would be great if I have such a powerful demon sovereign by my side. You're thinking too much. Such a demon sovereign would rarely follow a human. It's even more impossible for them to be subdued by a human. This dog has such a good relationship with Jiang Chen. It can only mean that Jiang Chen is very charming. AI. Leopard Hall is really embarrassed today. I wonder how this matter will end. The situation was getting more and more intense. This matter was caused by Lu Jian. If Lu Jian didn't provoke Jiang Chen's people, Jiang Chen wouldn't have come to their doorstep. Leopard Hall wouldn't lose face, and Lu Jian wouldn't become a cripple. Many people felt that Lu Jian was too stupid.
Li Song was a good example. At that time, Jiang Chen wasn't a member of the Dragon Hall yet, but he still dared to cause such a huge commotion. Now that Jiang Chen had joined the Dragon Hall, he became even more unscrupulous. Lu Jian choosing to provoke Jiang Chen at this time was simply courting death. Oh! The battle was getting more and more intense. The disciples of the Leopard Hall were starting to lose. Many of them were screaming and retreating with serious injuries. The only elder who managed to come out was completely entangled by De Huang Dog. He was so depressed that he was about to vomit blood. How could he have the chance to help the other disciples? All of you stop. At this moment, another shout was heard from the Leopard Hall. An old man walked out. This old man's eyes were incomparably sharp. He looked like a person that was not to be trifled with. As a matter of fact, he was not to be trifled with. Who would dare to provoke a fourth-grade great sovereign? After the elder appeared, the battle immediately stopped. Everyone stopped what they were doing. In fact, the battle itself was almost over, because the people of Leopard Hall basically had no ability to continue fighting. It's Elder Xiang Mu. He's the great elder of the Dragon Hall, a peak fourth-grade great sovereign. The people of the Dragon Hall won't dare to touch him anymore. At this point in time, only a fourth-grade great sovereign can stop the battle. I wonder what Elder Xiang Mu will do next. Will he take action? The appearance of a fourth-grade great sovereign silenced the noisy scene immediately. This was the deterrence of a fourth-grade great sovereign. Even a madman like Yu Feng had to give face to a fourth-grade great sovereign. Great Elder. Please help us, Great Elder. The Dragon Hall has gone too far. Yes. Great Elder. Many of our disciples are injured. Seeing Xiang Mu, the disciples of Leopard Hall immediately went up to him as if they saw their savior. Shut up. Xiang Mu glared at those disciples. His eyes were filled with reproach. His meaning was obvious. Who can you blame if you don't have the ability? The higher-ups like Xiang Mu had been secretly watching the battle. After all, the disciples of the Dragon Hall were all young, so it was not appropriate for them to show up directly. Moreover, Xiang Mu wanted to see the real gap between the disciples of the Leopard Hall and the Dragon Hall. If the Leopard Hall could win, the reputation of the Leopard Hall would grow, and they would no longer be suppressed by the Dragon Hall. Unfortunately, it seemed like it was an extravagant hope. The strength of the Dragon Hall was not just a rumor. The Leopard Hall was losing ground. It wasn't easy for them to send out a third-grade great sovereign, but he couldn't even defeat a dog. If the battle continued, the Leopard Hall would lose all their face. The disciples of the Leopard Hall are just Our Dragon Hall has learned something today. Junior brother Jiang Chen, let's go. Yu Feng said in front of Xiang Mu, then left with the people of the Dragon Hall. Jiang Chen and De Huang Dog looked at each other, then turned and left. Great Elder, are we just going to let them go? A disciple said anxiously. All right. Haven't we embarrassed ourselves enough? Go back and cultivate properly. Xiang Mu said angrily. He also wanted to make Jiang Chen stay. After all, the Leopard Hall had lost a lot of face today. However, Xiang Mu was very clear that if he insisted on making things difficult for the disciples of the Dragon Hall, the higher-ups of the Dragon Hall would definitely appear, and even Feng Jingyang would be involved. At that time, with Feng Jingyang's strength, not only would the Leopard Hall lose their face, they would also lose even more face. It would be useless even if the Hall Master of the Leopard Hall appeared. Moreover, the Leopard Hall was in the wrong today. There was no need to continue to make trouble. Xiang Mu was very clear about this, so he could only suffer in silence. On the other side, Jiang Chen was somewhat surprised that the Leopard Hall could leave so easily. This was not the result he wanted. He originally wanted to continue to make trouble, and let the higher-ups of the two halls appear. He did not expect Xiang Mu to be so wise. This Xiang Mu is a very smart person. He knows that the Leopard Hall won't have a good ending if he continues to make trouble, so he simply let it go. Jiang Chen said, "That's right. The Leopard Hall won't have a good ending if they continue to make trouble." De Huang Dog said, "However, this matter is almost over. Lu Yishan and the others have been avenged. Moreover, the enmity between the Dragon Hall and the Leopard Hall has been completely formed. It will only grow deeper in the future. This is a good thing." Jiang Chen said with a smile. Any action that would cause chaos in the Immortal Court was a good thing. The more chaotic the Immortal Court was, the more he wanted to see it. Moreover, Jiang Chen had a better understanding of the strength and influence of the Dragon Hall through today's matter. This also made Jiang Chen more convinced that he must win the Dragon Hall over to Heaven's Sovereign's side. Especially Feng Jingyang. It would be great if Heaven's Sovereign could use him. Next, Jiang Chen would continue to take things one step at a time. Chapter 1953. After everyone returned to the Dragon Hall, Hong Ying took out her private stash of fine wine, and the senior and junior brothers drank to their heart's content. It was truly a scene of heroism. Jiang Chen was also influenced by such an atmosphere. He personally enjoyed interacting with such people. From Feng Jingyang to every disciple in the Dragon Hall, Jiang Chen liked them from the bottom of his heart. Almost every one of them had a bright future ahead of them. Junior brother Jiang, you're really brave. You actually dared to charge into the Leopard Hall alone. Awesome. That's right. Junior brother Jiang is indeed heroic. Our Dragon Hall likes people like you. Today, we'll have a great battle and teach those guys from the Leopard Hall a good lesson. That's for sure. They're still too inexperienced to fight against our Dragon Hall. Each of the disciples of the Dragon Hall was in high spirits. They didn't feel that what they had done was wrong. Jiang Chen initially thought that he had made a mistake this time and might be reprimanded by Feng Jingyang. But now, it seemed that it wasn't what he had thought. Feng Jingyang hadn't appeared from the beginning to the end. The meaning was clear. The master of the Dragon Hall had turned a blind eye to what the disciples of the Dragon Hall had done. As the saying goes, a soldier is like a general. It was the same for the Dragon Hall. Like master, like disciple. The disciples of the Dragon Hall must have understood Feng Jingyang's nature and temper, which was why they chose to attack without restraint. Moreover, they did not feel that there was anything wrong with their actions. In other words, if they were at a disadvantage and did not dare to attack, Feng Jingyang would appear. At that time, they would all point at their noses and scold them, saying that they had embarrassed themselves. Why didn't you invite me for a drink? A voice suddenly sounded. Everyone immediately looked towards the source of the voice and saw a man in an azure blue robe walking out of the void. The man looked to be about 25 or 26 years old with a faintly discernible smile on his face. He was very handsome and had a heroic spirit between his brows. At a glance, one could tell that he was a dragon among men. It was impossible for anyone to forget him when he appeared in a place. Eldest senior brother. Seeing the person who came, everyone became excited. One by one, they immediately stood up from their seats and ran to the eldest senior brother. Eldest senior brother, when did you return? Why didn't you tell us in advance? That's right. Big senior brother, you didn't see it. Today, we went to teach those guys from Leopard Hall a lesson. The young man who suddenly appeared was the legendary great senior brother of the Dragon Hall, the supreme genius of the immortal court, Yu Huafan. You've done well. This time, I was suddenly summoned back by Master. I still don't know what happened. Yu Huafan shrugged. As a young second-grade great sovereign and one of the best peerless experts in the immortal court, he did not put on any airs in front of his senior and junior brothers. Judging from this, the atmosphere in the Dragon Hall was indeed harmonious. Jiang Chen walked up to Yu Huafan, cupped his fists and said, Jiang Chen greets eldest senior brother. Jiang Chen was very interested in this legendary great senior brother. He had always been interested in experts. It had been a few days since he came to the Dragon Hall, and he had been listening to the legends about this great senior brother. Apart from himself, this great senior brother was the first person who went to the Leopard Hall alone. He's the new disciple of Master. He can't be wrong. I've already heard about the matter of you going to the Leopard Hall. You've done a good job. Those guys from the Leopard Hall and the Tiger Hall need to be taught a lesson. Yu Huafan spoke. His eyes swept across Jiang Chen and nodded. Apparently, he was very satisfied with his new junior brother. Jiang Chen smiled. His first impression of this great senior brother was very good. Just like the other disciples of the Dragon Hall, Jiang Chen had a good first impression of this great senior brother. A disciple personally selected by Feng Jingyang couldn't be wrong. Huafan, Jiang Chen, come and see me. At this moment, Feng Jingyang's voice suddenly resounded in the sky, calling for Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan to see him. Master is calling for you. There must be something important. Hurry up and go, said Hong Ying. Yes, I think there must be something important. Otherwise,
Great senior brother wouldn't be called back. Yu Feng nodded and said. Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan didn't waste any time and went straight to Feng Jingyang's residence. The Dragon Hall only occupied a mountain peak, which wasn't big compared to the Immortal Court. Therefore, it was very easy for Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan to go to Feng Jingyang's residence. Creek. Feng Jingyang's cultivation place was at the center of the Dragon Hall. It was a palace. When Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan arrived, the door of the palace opened automatically. Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan exchanged a glance and walked into the palace at the same time. They saw Feng Jingyang sitting at the center of the palace. Master. The two of them greeted Feng Jingyang at the same time. Huafan. What did you gain from your trip? Asked Feng Jingyang. Quite a lot. My cultivation base has reached the peak of 2nd grade Great Sovereign Realm, only a step away from the 3rd grade Great Sovereign Realm. Yu Huafan said honestly. He was extremely respectful in front of Feng Jingyang. Not bad. Feng Jingyang nodded and praised. Before Jiang Chen came, Yu Huafan was his proudest disciple. I see that Master's complexion is not bad, and his qi is fluctuating. He should be advancing to the 6th grade Great Sovereign soon. Yu Huafan said with a smile. At my level, everything can only depend on luck. Feng Jingyang said. Jiang Chen nodded secretly. Feng Jingyang had his own attitude towards cultivation, and he was calm and not impetuous. It was only a matter of time for a person like him to advance. Master, what's the matter that made you so anxious for me to come back? Asked Yu Huafan. There's indeed a matter. It's neither a big nor a small matter. 7 days later is the birthday of the Island Lord of Demonic Immortal Island, Tian Peng Evil Emperor. Star Sovereign has asked me to choose 2 people from the Dragon Hall to attend the birthday celebration. Bring Jiang Chen along. Feng Jingyang said. All right. Yu Huafan did not refuse and immediately agreed. He had always been duty-bound to complete the task assigned by Feng Jingyang. Demonic Immortal Island? What's that? Jiang Chen was stunned. It was his first time hearing about the Demonic Immortal Island. All along, he only knew about the immortal courts of the 9 major immortal domains, and above that was the sovereign domain. Now, the Demonic Immortal Island suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and the birthday celebration that Star Sovereign was so concerned about. It was enough to show that the Tian Peng Evil Emperor was extraordinary, and that the Demonic Immortal Island was extraordinary. Junior brother, the Demonic Immortal Island is a special existence. It doesn't belong to any of the 9 major immortal domains, but its strength is not weaker than any of the immortal courts. Chapter 1954. Upon hearing this, Jiang Chen couldn't help but feel astonished. He didn't know anything about the Demonic Immortal Island, which wasn't any weaker than the Immortal Court. This showed how low-key the Demonic Immortal Island was. However, Jiang Chen also understood that it was normal for ordinary people to not know about a major power that was comparable to the Immortal Court. Just like how Jiang Chen didn't know about the existence of the Immortal Court in the beginning. Jiang Chen was, after all, someone who had ascended from the lower world. He wasn't too familiar with the immortal world. Plus, the Demonic Immortal Island barely had any contact with the outside world. At least, Jiang Chen hadn't met anyone from the Demonic Immortal Island along the way. Are there only demonic beasts in the Demonic Immortal Island? Asked Jiang Chen curiously. Not all of them, but the ones who control the Demonic Immortal Island are the demonic beasts. Almost all the demonic beasts in the immortal world with strange bloodlines live in the Demonic Immortal Island. The master of the Demonic Immortal Island, Tian Peng Evil Emperor, is a powerful 6th grade demon sovereign. His body contains the complete bloodline of the ancient heavenly Peng. Even Star Sovereign has to give him some face. Yu Huafan explained. He could see that Jiang Chen didn't know about the Demonic Immortal Island. I see. Jiang Chen nodded secretly. He finally understood the status of the Demonic Immortal Island in the immortal world. It was almost equivalent to the demon race of the 8 major families in Saint Origin World. Although it didn't show itself easily, no one dared to ignore its existence. The Demonic Immortal Island hardly has any contact with the outside world, but the birthday celebration of Tian Peng Evil Emperor is a very lively event. The immortal courts of the 9 immortal domains will send their people to congratulate the Demonic Immortal Island. The 9 immortal courts hope to establish a relationship with the Demonic Immortal Island. If they can get the support of the Demonic Immortal Island,
they will have the strength to suppress the other immortal courts. Even if they can't get the support of the demonic Immortal Island, at least they don't want to become enemies with the demonic Immortal Island. Therefore, the 9 immortal courts will send their people to congratulate the Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Yu Huafan continued. Jiang Chen nodded again. After Yu Huafan's explanation, he had a very clear understanding of the demonic Immortal Island. Just like White Dragon Temple, the demonic Immortal Island didn't belong to any immortal domain, but none of the immortal courts dared to slight them. They were the symbol of the demon race and Buddhism sect. Generally, Buddha sect stood aloof from worldly affairs. Therefore there was nothing to fight for, but the demonic Immortal Island was different. Everyone knew that the people of the demon race were warlike. Although the strength of the 9 immortal courts was in balance, the battle between them wasn't something that would last for a day. The balance would be broken immediately if one of the 9 immortal courts could gain the support of the demonic Immortal Island. Therefore, the 9 great immortal courts had never given up on roping in Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Master, will Junior Brother and I be the only ones going to the demonic Immortal Island? Yu Huafan looked at Feng Jingyang. It's good that the 2 of you go. Star Sovereign has entrusted this matter to me. I'll let the 2 of you go. You 2 will represent the Immortal Court. Don't lose face when it comes to handling matters. Feng Jingyang nodded. Don't worry, Master. The corner of Yu Huafan's mouth was wearing an arrogant smile. A person like him would bring glory to the Dragon Hall no matter where he went. He wouldn't do anything that would bring shame to the Dragon Hall. Normally, the Immortal Court would send a lot of people to celebrate the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Apart from the representatives, there would also be some people who were willing to follow them to the demonic Immortal Island to broaden their horizons. After all, the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor was a lively event. However, Feng Jingyang didn't want to make such a scene. Since Brother Star had entrusted this task to him, he would naturally act according to his own habits. In Feng Jingyang's point of view, since Yu Huafan and Jiang Chen could represent the Dragon Hall, they could also represent the Immortal Court. This drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood is a congratulatory gift. I believe that Tianpeng Evil Emperor will be interested in it. Feng Jingyang waved his hand and a fist-sized crystal ball was thrown out. Yu Huafan caught it and immediately felt the heat coming out from the crystal ball. There was a drop of fiery red blood wriggling like saliva in the crystal ball. It looked extremely mystical. Vermilion Bird Divine Blood. Jiang Chen's eyes widened and fell upon the crystal ball. Not only him, even Yu Huafan's eyes flickered. A drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood. If Jiang Chen could obtain it, his cultivation base would immediately break through to the late immortal venerable realm. Additionally, he would be able to obtain a trace of the Vermilion Bird's bloodline and condense the Vermilion Bird's flame. He already had 4 types of flames in his body. This gift is really generous. Even Yu Huafan couldn't help sighing. A drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood was priceless. Both the Heavenly Peng and Vermilion Bird were divine birds. The scariest thing about the Heavenly Peng was its speed, while the Vermilion Bird was a symbol. A figure like Tianpeng Evil Emperor wouldn't put ordinary treasures in his eyes. But this drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood was a completely different story. Yu Huafan kept the Vermilion Bird Divine Blood. It was useless no matter how tempted he and Jiang Chen were. This was a gift prepared by Star Sovereign for Tianpeng Evil Emperor. They were merely people who were going to attend the birthday celebration. This Vermilion Bird Divine Blood wasn't something they could touch. Both of you can leave now. There are still 7 days before Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday celebration. You can choose to go now or a few days later. Feng Jingyang said, then waved his hand, gesturing for them to leave. Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan clasped their fists at Feng Jingyang and left the palace. Senior brother, the Immortal Court is really generous. A drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood is given away just like that. Jiang Chen curled his lips, feeling that it was a reckless waste of a god's gift. Yeah, it's a damn pity. If you and I share this Vermilion Bird Divine study, it will absolutely bring us endless benefits. However, we can only think about it. If we really do that, we won't be able to return to the Immortal Court in the future. Yu Huafan shrugged. He had the same thought as Jiang Chen. They both felt that it was a pity to give away a drop of Vermilion Bird Divine Blood. If this divine study was given to any of them, they would gain tremendous benefits. Jiang Chen's cultivation base would at least advance to the peak of Immortal Venerable Realm, while Yu Huafan could even advance to the 3rd grade Great Sovereign Realm. However, Just like what Yu Huafan said, even if it was a pity, they couldn't touch it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to return to the immortal court in the future. Senior brother, when are we leaving? Asked Jiang Chen. I think we should leave tomorrow. Since we have plenty of time, we can go out for a stroll. I have never been to the demonic immortal island before. I heard that the demonic immortal island is located overseas and there are many islands around it. Isn't it wonderful to see the scenery overseas? What do you think, junior brother? Yu Huafan said with a smile. That's what I'm thinking too. Jiang Chen nodded immediately. After stirring up the immortal court, Jiang Chen's next task was to wait for the opening of the miniature Fengqi world. However, there was still some time before the opening of the miniature Fengqi world. There was nothing to do in the immortal court, so he decided to go to the demonic immortal island for a stroll. Perhaps he could obtain some fortuitous encounters there. Then, he would have a greater chance of participating in the trial of the miniature Fengqi world. Chapter 1955. Jiang Chen was very clear about what he was going to do and what he was doing now. Plus, he had a very complete plan for what he was going to do next. After the demonic immortal island was the miniature Fengqi world. The next day, Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan left the immortal court early in the morning with De Huang Dog, heading towards the demonic immortal island. The demonic immortal island is located overseas. It's the true ruler of the overseas islands. Its territory has already exceeded the 9 immortal domains. Yu Huafan said. He and Jiang Chen weren't in a hurry to continue their journey. After all, there were still a few days before the birthday of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign. Therefore, the two of them didn't use any spatial passageway while enjoying the scenery along the way. This was what Jiang Chen liked the most. The immortal world was just too big. It was hard to have a chance to travel around the entire immortal world. This trip to the demonic immortal island was just for relaxation. The immortal world is just too big. Jiang Chen couldn't help but sigh. When he first came to Ethereal Immortal Domain, the size of Ethereal Immortal Domain was at least 1,000 times bigger than Saint Origin World. The vastness of the domain was simply unimaginable. Ethereal Immortal Domain wasn't the only one in the immortal world. There were 8 other immortal domains, making a total of 9 immortal domains. Jiang Chen initially thought that the 9 immortal domains were almost all the territories of the immortal world. Now, it seemed that it was far from the case. There were even more remote areas outside the 9 immortal domains. The endless sea extended to an unknown place. The vastness of the immortal world wasn't something that Jiang Chen could imagine at all. That's right. The immortal world is vast and complicated. Apart from the demonic immortal island, there are many other islands in the overseas islands. There are many races and different species living on these islands. It'll be a pity if we don't go there to have a look. Yu Huafan said. Although he knew more about the immortal world than Jiang Chen, he had never been to the overseas islands. Therefore, he was very interested in this trip to the demonic immortal island to celebrate the birthday of Tian Peng Evil Emperor. In addition to meeting the legendary Tian Peng Evil Emperor, he could also appreciate the customs overseas. This was a rare opportunity. De Huang, why are you so quiet? This isn't like you. Jiang Chen noticed that De Huang Dog, who was following them, had become surprisingly quiet, as if he was not interested in the conversation between Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan at all. In Jiang Chen's opinion, De Huang Dog's behavior was undoubtedly very unusual. Jiang Chen knew very well what kind of person De Huang Dog was. This dog liked to join in the fun. This time, De Huang Dog should be very excited about going to the demonic immortal island to see the world. But now he was so dull, which surprised Jiang Chen. Master Dog wants to be quiet for a while. You guys talk. Don't bother me. De Huang Dog glared at Jiang Chen and chose to be dull. Damn. Jiang Chen rolled his eyes. This dog's behavior was very unusual. Jiang Chen guessed that De Huang Dog must have been to the demonic immortal island and something must have happened there. Otherwise, he wouldn't behave like this. However, since De Huang Dog was unwilling to talk about it, he didn't ask. 3 days later, Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan came to the boundless water region. They couldn't see the end of the water region. They could only see waves rising and falling in the distant sky, one wave after another, rippling unceasingly. This is the boundary of the overseas region. Along this water, we will reach the boundless sea area. The demonic immortal island is in the center of this sea area. According to our previous speed, we can reach the demonic immortal island in 1 day. Yu Huafan said. Well, let's go. Jiang Chen nodded. Without any hesitation, he directly stepped on the sky above the sea area. The three of them were extremely fast and became 3 black spots in the blink of an eye. Not long after Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan disappeared, 7 or 8 tyrannical auras suddenly appeared in the void. Then, 8 figures emerged and stood at the place where Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan stood previously. Each of these 8 people exuded an extremely terrifying cultivation base. The lowest cultivation base among them was a half-step sovereign expert. There were 7 young men and 1 middle-aged man. The middle-aged man was a first-grade great sovereign, but his aura was unstable and unstable. He should be someone who had just advanced to the great sovereign realm. However, the leader of this group of people was not the middle-aged first-grade great sovereign, but a young man in a blue robe. Even his hair was blue, his eyes were incomparably bright, and his face was filled with an arrogant smile. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back, exuding an air of nobility from his body. Of course, the most shocking thing was not his noble aura, but his cultivation base. A peak second-grade great sovereign at such a young age. He might not be any weaker than Yu Huafan. Beside the blue-haired man, there were 2 young first-grade great sovereigns. Such figures were the geniuses among geniuses, the cream of the crop. Their talent was second to none even in the entire immortal world. The remaining 4 were also half-step sovereigns, similar to Yu Feng and Hong Ying. Their identities could be easily guessed. Only the immortal court could produce such a young great sovereign camp. Apart from them, there were no other major powers in the immortal world that could cultivate such geniuses. This is the sea area, the blue-haired man said. Young Master Lan Xian, this is the sea area. With our current speed, we will reach the demonic immortal island in less than 2 days. The middle-aged man said. I heard that Elder Li has been to the outer seas before. I wonder how the major powers there are? A first-grade great sovereign genius asked. Although I, Li Wangye, am not talented, I have traveled all over the immortal world. There is almost no place in the immortal world that I haven't been to. There are many islands in the outer seas, and the forces on those islands are complicated. Most of them are demonic beasts, and there are also some alien races. There are very few human forces, because it's very difficult for humans to establish their own forces in the outer seas. However, the demonic immortal island is the leader of all the islands in the outer seas. The reputation of the Tian Pang evil emperor is very famous here. His status is equivalent to our sovereign lord. The middle-aged man said proudly. Traveling all over the immortal world was something worth bragging about, especially in front of these young geniuses. If Jiang Chen was here, he would definitely recognize that this middle-aged man was none other than Li Wangye of Ethereal Immortal Domain. Chapter 1956. In that case, Elder Li, please give us a good explanation when we arrive at the ocean, said Lan Xian with a smile. Lan Xian said with a smile. As a top genius of the Immortal Court of Ethereal Immortal Domain, he was valued by the Immortal Court just like Yu Huafan. He was even asked to represent the entire Immortal Court to congratulate Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's birthday. This alone was enough to show how honorable his status in the Immortal Court was. An elder like Li Wangye was nothing in front of Lan Xian. Even if Li Wangye had advanced to the first-grade great sovereign realm, he wouldn't stand a chance against Lan Xian in a real fight. Therefore, Li Wangye didn't put on the airs of an elder in front of Lan Xian. It was rare for someone like Li Wangye to have a conversation with Lan Xian. This time, Li Wangye wanted to use this opportunity to curry favor with Lan Xian. If he could befriend someone like Lan Xian, he would have a better life in the Immortal Court in the future. Rest assured, young Master Lan Xian. With me around, I will definitely let you travel the entire ocean. Li Wangye said with a smile. All right, let's go. Lan Xian waved his hand. Everyone turned into streaks of light and flew towards the direction where Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan had disappeared. Along the way, Li Wangye ceaselessly explained to the many genius disciples what he had seen and heard in the past, and he spoke with great relish while beaming with delight. All of a sudden, Li Wangye's face darkened. He looked into the distance. What's wrong, Elder Li? Lan Xian looked at Li Wangye. I smell a very familiar aura. Li Wangye knitted his brows. Oh, what aura? Lan Xian followed Li Wangye's gaze curiously, but didn't find anything unusual. It's Jiang Chen.
Jiang Chen has come to the sea region. He's not far from us. Li Wangye's expression changed. Given his cultivation base, his senses were extremely sharp. Plus, he had fought with Jiang Chen several times. Therefore, he was extremely sensitive to Jiang Chen's aura. In addition, the Immortal Court had never given up on hunting Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen? Lan Xian frowned. This was the first time he had heard of this name. That Jiang Chen who wreaked havoc in the Golden Horizon and killed many of our disciples? A half-step sovereign genius said in shock. People like Lan Xian rarely appeared in the public and rarely asked about the affairs of the lower realm. Therefore, even though Jiang Chen had caused a huge uproar, he still hadn't heard of Jiang Chen. However, those disciples whose cultivation was lower than Lan Xian had heard of Jiang Chen. Therefore, when they heard Jiang Chen's name, a trace of killing intent appeared in their bodies. That's right. It's him. I didn't expect that little bastard to come to the ocean. It seems like he's with Xiao Wangqing. Only Xiao Wangqing would choose to come to the ocean at this time. Li Wangye said Lung Lung. Tell me what happened. Lan Xian asked, seemingly very interested in this Jiang Chen. There's something that young Master Lan Xian doesn't know. Li Wangye told Lan Xian everything about Jiang Chen, including the grudge between Jiang Chen and the Immortal Court. After listening to it, the corner of Lan Xian's mouth revealed a trace of a sneer. Humph! An ant-like figure dares to go against our Immortal Court? He's simply courting death. Let's go and get rid of him. There's no need for young Master Lan Xian to do it. This little bastard must have come with Xiao Wangqing. I have an old grudge with Xiao Wangqing. This time, I'll personally send them to hell. Li Wangye was full of killing intent as he flew towards the direction of Jiang Chen, followed closely by Lan Xian and the others. Li Wangye had always been brooding over his defeat to Xiao Wangqing. So when he sensed Jiang Chen's qi, he was sure that Xiao Wangqing would follow him. In his mind, only Xiao Wangqing would come to the ocean at this time. As for Jiang Chen, it was impossible for him to come to the ocean without Xiao Wangqing. Now that Li Wangye had advanced to the great sovereign realm, he was full of confidence. He no longer put Jiang Chen in his eyes. Therefore, he decided to get rid of Xiao Wangqing and Jiang Chen personally. In the sky above the ocean, 2 men and a dog were flying leisurely at a moderate speed. Li Wangye and the others quickly caught up with them. Swoosh! Li Wangye appeared in front of Jiang Chen, blocking Jiang Chen and the others' path. He didn't conceal his killing intent at all. Li Wangye. Jiang Chen was stunned. He was somewhat surprised to see Li Wangye here, but he soon felt relieved when he saw a group of geniuses. Without a doubt, these people were the genius disciples of the Immortal Court of Ethereal Immortal Domain. Jiang Chen, where's Xiao Wangqing? Asked Li Wangye. He was very surprised that he didn't see Xiao Wangqing. Senior Xiao? Why do you think that I'm with him? Asked Jiang Chen curiously. It seems that you didn't come with Xiao Wangqing. At this moment, Li Wangye also realized that he had made a mistake, because he saw the man next to Jiang Chen. He could sense an extremely terrifying qi from this man, which he could only sense from Lan Xian. He was very surprised to see Jiang Chen hanging out with such an expert. Could it be that Senior Xiao has also come to the ocean? Jiang Chen frowned. Although Li Wangye didn't say much, it wasn't hard for Jiang Chen to tell from his tone that Xiao Wangqing would surely come. It was only normal for Jiang Chen to come with Xiao Wangqing. Yu Huafan, long time no see. Lan Xian walked over and greeted Yu Huafan directly when he saw him. Lan Xian, it seems like Ethereal Immortal Domain has sent you to the birthday celebration. Yu Huafan looked over at Lan Xian. Both of them were elites of the Immortal Court, so it was normal for them to know each other. However, it wasn't hard to tell from Yu Huafan's tone that they didn't have a good relationship. However, this was also normal. The Immortal Courts of the 9 major immortal domains had never been on good terms. The competition between the geniuses had never stopped. Yu Huafan? Why would the genius of Fengqi Immortal Domain, Yu Huafan, be with Jiang Chen? Li Wangye frowned. He could disregard Xiao Wangqing, but he couldn't ignore Yu Huafan. What's wrong? Senior brother Jiang, is there a conflict between you two? Yu Huafan looked at Li Wangye with a smile. It's hard to explain in a few words. Anyway, the Ethereal Immortal Court is determined to kill me. Jiang Chen shrugged without the slightest fear on his face. You are Jiang Chen? Lan Xian looked at Jiang Chen, curiously examining him from top to bottom. That's right.
I'm now a member of the Immortal Court of Fengqi Immortal Domain. Jiang Chen said. Damn it! Why did this bastard join the Immortal Court of Fengqi Immortal Domain? Chapter 1957. By now, Li Wangye finally knew why Jiang Chen was here. It wasn't for Xiao Wangqing, but for the same purpose as them. To celebrate the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. The fact that Jiang Chen could come to Demonic Immortal Island to attend the birthday celebration was enough to show that Jiang Chen was highly valued by the Immortal Court. I don't care whether you've joined the Immortal Court or not. I only know that your hands are stained with the blood of the disciples of Ethereal Immortal Court. Since we've met here today, I naturally won't let you go. I'll give you a chance to commit suicide. Lan Xian's hands were placed behind his back. His face was full of arrogance and his words were arrogant to the extreme. He was like the king of hell who was going to judge the life and death of a person. His first sentence was to ask Jiang Chen to commit suicide. Fuck! Where did this idiot come from? How dare he fart here? He stinks. De Huang Dog couldn't stand it any longer and retorted. Damn dog, what did you say? How dare you disrespect our senior brother Lan? I'll skin you alive. A half-step sovereign genius pointed at De Huang Dog and threatened. Swoosh! De Huang Dog's figure vanished in a flash. In the next moment, he appeared above the head of the disciple and bit his head with his bloody mouth. Ka-cha! Ah! Along with a miserable scream, the head of the half-step sovereign genius was bitten off by De Huang Dog. Blood spurted more than 3 meters high and dyed the water below red. Ah! Junior brother Liu! The sudden turn of events caused the disciples to exclaim. None of them had thought that De Huang Dog would kill someone without saying a word. Plus, De Huang Dog's speed was so fast that even Lan Xian couldn't react in time. Bah! This is the consequence of pointing your finger at Master Dog. De Huang Dog spat ferociously. Hong! The geniuses of the Ethereal Immortal Court were infuriated. Lan Xian's eyes were about to spit fire. This time, he led the team to the Demonic Immortal Island to celebrate Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign's birthday, and at the same time, to broaden their horizons. Who would have thought that one of them would be killed by a dog before they even arrived at the Demonic Immortal Island? How could he not be angry? Courting death. Lan Xian was infuriated. He slapped De Huang Dog. Hong! Yu Huafan blocked Lan Xian's attack with ease. Lan Xian, you want to kill someone right in front of me? Where do you put me, Yu Huafan? Yu Huafan's combat intent was unparalleled. As a member of the Dragon Hole, each of them had a fiery temper. Although Yu Huafan was gentle and courteous to Jiang Chen, he was like a ferocious tiger in front of his enemies. He was a madman who would disregard everything when he went crazy. Yu Huafan's battle intent was unparalleled. As a member of Dragon Hole, each of them had a fiery temper. Although Yu Huafan treated Jiang Chen politely, he was a ferocious tiger and a madman in front of his enemies. This was the symbol of Dragon Hall. Yu Huafan, this is the enmity between us and Jiang Chen. He has killed many geniuses of our immortal court. He must die. Lan Xian said. Haha, that only shows that the geniuses of your immortal court are incompetent. They deserve to die. Yu Huafan burst into laughter. He didn't care how deep the enmity between Jiang Chen and Ethereal Immortal Court was. In his heart, Jiang Chen was a member of Dragon Hall, and the members of Dragon Hall couldn't be bullied or killed. Yu Huafan, it seems like you're going to meddle in other people's business today. Lan Xian said angrily. It's not my business. It's my duty. Yu Huafan's qi was very strong. Lan Xian clenched his fists so hard that cracking sounds could be heard. Of course, he wanted to kill Jiang Chen and Big Yellow, but with Yu Huafan here today, it wouldn't be an easy task to kill them. He knew Yu Huafan's strength very well. As for the others, although there were 3 first-grade great sovereigns following them, the dog was obviously not someone to be trifled with. Judging from its cultivation base, it was a first-grade demon sovereign. Judging from the fact that it had bitten off a person's head in an instant, it was obvious that this dog was extremely terrifying. Since your immortal court is bent on killing me, I'll give you a chance. Jiang Chen took a step forward and looked at Li Wangye. Li Wangye, I know that you have been wanting to kill me for a long time. Back in Genius Prefecture, if it wasn't for Senior Xiao, I'm afraid that I would have been taken away by you. And if it wasn't for little you, I'm afraid that I would have died in your hands. You want to kill me, and I naturally want to kill you.
Why don't we have a one-on-one fight to settle the scores between us? Upon hearing this, Li Wangye was dumbfounded. Not only him, but Lan Xian and the others were also dumbfounded, looking at Jiang Chen in disbelief. How could Jiang Chen propose a one-on-one fight with Li Wangye at this moment? Was there something wrong with his brain? They knew very well that Jiang Chen's cultivation base was only at the intermediate immortal venerable realm, whereas Li Wangye was a first-grade great sovereign. Even though he had just advanced to the first-grade great sovereign realm, he was still a great sovereign. An intermediate immortal venerable couldn't deal with him. Junior brother Jiang, there's no need for this. No one can hurt you as long as I'm here. Yu Huafan said hastily. Senior brother, I just want to kill this old dog with my own hands, Jiang Chen said with a smile. His tone was casual, as though he didn't put Li Wangye in his eyes at all. Given Li Wangye's strength, he would surely die if he fought Jiang Chen. Humph! Jiang Chen, you are too arrogant. Li Wangye was incomparably infuriated. Jiang Chen's words were a complete humiliation to him. Why? You don't dare to accept the challenge? I'm giving you a chance to kill me. This is also your only chance. Jiang Chen said. Don't dare? What a joke. Jiang Chen, since you are courting death, don't blame me for being impolite. Today, I'll kill you with my own hands to get rid of any future troubles. The qi waves on Li Wangye's body began to surge. Although he knew that Jiang Chen's cultivation base was progressing very fast, he had already advanced to the great sovereign realm after all. He didn't put Jiang Chen in his eyes. One should know the gap between a great sovereign and an immortal venerable. Even though he had just advanced to the great sovereign realm and his cultivation base wasn't stable yet, he was still a great sovereign. How could an immortal venerable fight a great sovereign? Due to Yu Huafan's obstruction, Li Wangye didn't know how to kill Jiang Chen. Now that Jiang Chen had sent himself to his doorstep, he couldn't be happier. In that case, bring it on. With a sway of his body, Jiang Chen flew far away. An enormous qi surged out of his body, immediately opening up a battlefield. To Jiang Chen, these people of ethereal immortal court couldn't pose any pressure to him. After all, there was only Lan Xian. Yu Huafan alone was enough to deal with him. He was afraid that the rest of them wouldn't be enough to kill De Huang Dog. But now, Jiang Chen wanted to kill Li Wangye with his own hands. This was what he had always wanted to do. For a long time, Li Wangye was the one who dealt with him in ethereal immortal court. Chapter 1958. Brat, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Li Wangye's face was filled with a cold smile. With a sway, he appeared opposite of Jiang Chen. His killing intent soared to the sky. 10 great sovereign laws were hovering above his head, but his great sovereign laws were too weak. They were only as thick as a finger, which was a lot weaker than De Huang Dog's arm-sized laws. Senior brother Lan, can Elder Li kill Jiang Chen? A disciple asked. Don't worry. No matter how talented Jiang Chen is, he's just an intermediate immortal venerable. How can he be a match for Elder Li, who's a first-grade great sovereign? This brat is going to die for sure. Lan Xian sneered. The faces of the experts of ethereal immortal court were filled with anger. Putting aside the irreconcilable enmity between Jiang Chen and the immortal court, just the fact that De Huang Dog had killed one of them was enough to infuriate them. So many of them were standing here, but one of them was killed by a dog. Such a loss shouldn't even exist. On the other side, Yu Huafan's eyes were filled with worry. After all, he hadn't seen Jiang Chen's means. He had the same thought as Lan Xian. How talented could an intermediate immortal venerable be when facing a first-grade great sovereign? Don't worry. He won't die. De Huang Dog said with a smile. His face was full of confidence in Jiang Chen. No one knew Jiang Chen better than him. The current Li Wangye was nothing in front of Jiang Chen. In the sky above the water domain, Jiang Chen and Li Wangye were facing each other. Both of their qi were incomparably powerful, causing the surrounding water to rumble and surge. Prairie blazing. Li Wangye immediately unleashed a powerful killing strike. In his eyes, this Jiang Chen was too cunning. If there was a chance to kill Jiang Chen, he wouldn't miss it. He had to kill Jiang Chen in one strike. Hoo-hoo! Boundless flames instantly burned in the sky above the water. Unfortunately, because of the water, the fire didn't seem very fierce. Haha, Li Wangye, You're the blazing prairie fire in the water. You're really something. Jiang Chen laughed heartily. Only now did he remember that Li Wangye, the raging inferno blazing Li Wangye, was a fire user. Unfortunately, he had chosen the wrong place to play with fire in this sea region. He was unable to unleash his full strength. Even if Li Wangye unleashed his full strength, he still wouldn't be a match for Jiang Chen. Not to mention that he was now greatly affected. Water Dragon Seal. Jiang Chen shouted and transformed into his dragon transformation state. At the same time, he struck out a tyrannical water dragon seal. Ever since he had cultivated the 5 elements combat dragon seal to the great success realm, Jiang Chen rarely fought with the water dragon seal alone. After all, there was no suitable environment. However, the environment in front of him was too suitable for him to fight with the water dragon seal. Rumble. At the moment when the water dragon seal was struck out, the water within a radius of 1,000 miles was completely restless. Endless tides were directly swept out, forming a water dragon that was hundreds of miles long in the sky. Jiang Chen had the spirits of the 5 elements in his body. Now, in this water region, the water spirit played a powerful role. The tide of the entire water region could be mobilized by Jiang Chen. Even the power of water below could be used by Jiang Chen. His combat strength was directly superimposed. Roar. The water dragon roared. It was as if a real dragon had appeared. The huge water dragon opened its bloody mouth and a column of water that was integrated with a powerful force shot out from its mouth. In an instant, Li Wangye's raging fire was completely extinguished. Roar. The wild dragon, integrated with the endless power of water, hovered and wriggled in the sky above the water region. It stirred up the wind and clouds and directly rushed towards Li Wangye. What? Seeing this, Li Wangye couldn't help but exclaim. His expression changed instantly because he could feel an extremely powerful pressure and dangerous aura from the water dragon in front of him. It was the kind of feeling that he had never felt before. It was enough to put his life in danger. Not good. I don't know what method this kid used to control the water region. He directly used the powerful power of water to attack. I'm afraid Elder Li is no match for him. A genius disciple said in shock. Roar. The wild dragon had completely locked on to Li Wangye's aura. It opened its bloody mouth. Even though Li Wangye had cast a powerful attack, in front of the water dragon, all of his attacks seemed to be vulnerable. Seeing that he was about to be swallowed by the water dragon, Li Wangye's face finally showed a look of despair. He wanted to escape, but he was shocked to find that the water region was completely controlled by Jiang Chen. There was a water curtain in the surroundings, covering everything here. No! Li Wangye let out a last cry of unwillingness. His whole body was directly swallowed by the water dragon. Voila! In the next moment, the water dragon that was hundreds of miles long burst into countless waves and fell into the water. Li Wangye's figure appeared again. He was covered in blood and half of his body was about to be torn apart. He closed his eyes. In the attack just now, Li Wangye had suffered too much. Although he wasn't dead yet, he was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Subconsciously, he couldn't even control his body. His body could only fall from the sky. Swoosh! A dazzling sword light was thrown out by Jiang Chen. The indestructible sword light landed on Li Wangye's body, splitting his body into 2 halves. He died a horrible death. What? Lan Xian and the others exclaimed. They looked at Jiang Chen as if they had seen a ghost. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. No matter how weak Li Wangye was, he was still a first-grade great sovereign. In any case, it was impossible for him to be defeated by Jiang Chen in one move. This was the reality. From the beginning of the battle until Li Wangye's death, Jiang Chen had only used one move. However, those who were present on the scene could see that the reason why Jiang Chen could kill a great sovereign so easily was because he had the advantage of the right time and the right place. Li Wangye had the advantage of controlling the water and the water energy within. Moreover, Li Wangye cultivated a fire attribute cultivation technique, which greatly restrained his opponent. Even so, the fact that Jiang Chen was able to kill a great sovereign in one move was enough to stun them. Amazing! Yu Huafan's face was full of astonishment. At this moment, he finally understood why Feng Jingyang would personally invite Jiang Chen into the Dragon Hall. Even he, Yu Huafan, couldn't help but admire such a heaven-defying genius. Putting aside their current cultivation base, he was afraid that he and Jiang Chen weren't on the same level. When he was still an intermediate immortal venerable,
He couldn't even fight a half-step sovereign, let alone a first-grade great sovereign. Can't even withstand a single blow. Jiang Chen looked coldly at Li Wangye's body that had been split into two. His face was devoid of any emotion. For the fastest novel reading, please visit Chapter 1959. Li Wangye, the first expert of the older generation to fight with Jiang Chen, was killed by Jiang Chen in the end. The water dragon seal was incomparably powerful. Adding the environment here, it wasn't a coincidence that Li Wangye was killed by Jiang Chen in a single strike. The power of the water dragon seal and Jiang Chen's attack had surpassed that of the slaughter dragon seal. After all, the environment here was blessed by the heavens. Yu Huafan and De Huang Dog came to Jiang Chen's side and gave a thumbs up to Jiang Chen. Their faces were full of admiration. Voila! At this moment, Lan Xian and the others rushed forward and besieged Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan. Each of their faces was filled with strong killing intent. Jiang Chen, you've killed an elder of our immortal court. We can't let this matter go so easily. Lan Xian spoke coldly. It could be said that he was suppressing a bellyful of anger. The Sovereign Lord had personally asked him to lead a team to celebrate the birthday of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign, but they had already lost 2 people before they even arrived at the demonic Immortal Island. Lan Xian had lost not only his own face, but also the face of the Immortal Court. Under such circumstances, if he allowed Jiang Chen to leave so easily, he, Lan Xian, wouldn't be able to show his face in the Immortal Court anymore. Therefore, no matter what, he had to kill Jiang Chen today. Only in this way could he save some face. Lan Xian, Li Wangye accepted Jiang Chen's challenge. His death means that he's not strong enough. So what? Are you going to rely on your superior numbers? Yu Huafan spoke furiously. Yu Huafan, we'll talk about the battle between us later. Jiang Chen must die today. You'd better not get involved. Lan Xian's tone was firm. It seemed that he had made up his mind to get rid of Jiang Chen. What a joke. You'll have to get through me first if you want to kill junior brother Jiang. Yu Huafan completely released his imposing manner. The people of the Dragon Hall were not only powerful but also united. No matter how many enemies there were, it was impossible for him to leave Jiang Chen alone. Rumble. Unexpectedly, as soon as Yu Huafan's voice faded, the water within a radius of 1,000 miles rumbled again. Boundless water curtains began to ripple in the surroundings, and waves came one after another. Jiang Chen exerted the water spirit to control the area within 1,000 miles, completely blocking it and turning it into a battlefield. Lan Xian, even if you don't kill me, I will kill all of you. Your immortal court and I are absolutely irreconcilable enemies. There's nothing more to say. Since we've encountered each other, it's either you die or I die. Li Wangye's death is just the beginning. None of you can leave today. Jiang Chen shouted loudly. Beside him, De Huang Dog's head flashed with golden light. He was ready for battle. Everyone was stunned by Jiang Chen's reaction. They all thought that Jiang Chen would choose to flee after killing Li Wangye. They were afraid that Jiang Chen would run away, but it seemed that he had no intention of running away at all. Not only did he not run away, but he also wanted to kill all of them here. Sensing Jiang Chen's killing intent, Lan Xian and the others were so depressed that they almost spurted out a mouthful of blood. Are you kidding me? Who's going to kill who? In Jiang Chen's eyes, they had become his prey. This was too insignificant. Originally, they wanted to intimidate the opponent, but unexpectedly, the opponent wasn't afraid at all. What an arrogant kid. I'd like to see what you've got. Lan Xian was infuriated. He launched a violent punch at Jiang Chen. Lan Xian, your opponent is me. Yu Huafan was already prepared for this. He immediately blocked Lan Xian's attack. That dog isn't easy to deal with. I'll kill Jiang Chen. You guys surround that dog first. A first-grade great sovereign genius said. He then struck out a dazzling seal at Jiang Chen. Roar! Jiang Chen flipped his palm and struck out the water dragon seal. The powerful attack collided with the first-grade great sovereign, setting off countless waves. The water dragon was instantly torn apart. Jiang Chen was sent flying 100 meters away. This was the strength of a genius first-grade great sovereign. His combat strength was equivalent to an ordinary second-grade great sovereign. With Jiang Chen's current strength, he was no match for him. However, with the help of the water dragon seal and the Great Void technique, Jiang Chen could temporarily entangle the opponent for a while. Although he wasn't a match for the opponent, it was absolutely impossible for the opponent to kill him. Jiang Chen wasn't in a hurry. He would deal with whoever came to kill him first. If he couldn't defeat the opponent, he would entangle the opponent first to make time for De Huang Dog. De Huang Dog had 30 lines of time law. He was already half a step into the second-grade Great Sovereign realm. In a real fight, he was on the same level as Yu Huafan and Lan Xian. These genius disciples were nothing in front of De Huang Dog. There were 4 people besieging De Huang Dog now. 1 first-grade Great Sovereign and 3 half-step sovereigns. The first-grade Great Sovereign took the initiative to strike. His fist smashed the space, aiming at De Huang Dog's head. For God's sake, go to hell for Master Dog. De Huang Dog dragged his majestic body without dodging. His head, which was illuminated by the golden light, collided with the opponent's fist. Bang! Ka-cha! Accompanied by the sound of bones breaking, the first-grade Great Sovereign let out a miserable cry. He was sent flying away by Big Yellow's head, and even his wrist was broken by the impact. Swoosh! Before the first-grade Great Sovereign could recover from the shock, De Huang Dog turned into a golden light and appeared in front of him. The 3 half-step sovereigns were stunned. De Huang Dog's attack was too fast. The 3 of them were only prepared to attack, but it seemed like they didn't even have the chance to do so. Bang! Ugh! This time, De Huang Dog's head collided with the first-grade Great Sovereign's head. The genius was already caught off guard. Now that he was hit for the second time, he was even more defenseless. It was a pity. It would have been better if the head collided with other parts of the body, but it happened to hit the genius's head. One should know that not everyone's head was comparable to De Huang Dog's. The consequences of this collision were imaginable. The first-grade Great Sovereign's head was smashed, and he died on the spot. What? Exclamations were heard in the surroundings. This dog was too ferocious. Even a first-grade Great Sovereign genius was no match for him. Although there was an element of belittling the enemy, Big Yellow's strength and ferocity were undeniable. Good job, De Huang. Jiang Chen laughed heartily. The presence of De Huang Dog was the main reason why he was determined to kill his opponent. If it was only him and Yu Huafan, there was no need for them to fight. They could just choose to run away. However, with the presence of De Huang Dog, the battle was one-sided. De Huang, you deal with this one. I will go and kill the 3 half-step sovereigns. Chapter 1960. The whole process happened too fast. The battle had just begun. No one had expected that the dog would be so powerful. A first-grade Great Sovereign was killed by De Huang Dog just like that. According to Lan Xian and the others' initial expectation, even if De Huang Dog was a first-grade Demon Sovereign, he wouldn't be a match for their first-grade Great Sovereign geniuses. According to the plan, Lan Xian would keep Yu Huafan busy. A first-grade Great Sovereign would kill Jiang Chen, and the others would keep De Huang Dog busy. However, things didn't go the way they expected. The scariness of De Huang Dog was far beyond their imagination. A first-grade Great Sovereign was killed in an instant. Currently, the first-grade Great Sovereign who was supposed to kill Jiang Chen was stopped by De Huang Dog, freeing Jiang Chen to deal with the 3 half-step sovereigns. The situation was reversed in an instant. The prey had become the hunter. Don't be afraid. The 3 of us will join hands to deal with Jiang Chen. A shining sword appeared in the hand of one of the half-step sovereigns. It was a powerful venerable weapon. The 3 of them didn't dare to be careless. They unleashed all of their qi. They had to use all of their strength to deal with the terrifying Jiang Chen. They couldn't afford to be careless. Although the person standing in front of them was only an intermediate immortal venerable, it was this intermediate immortal venerable who had just killed first-grade Great Sovereign Li Wangye with a single strike. Although these half-step sovereign geniuses were very proud and confident, they had a good understanding of their own strength. Although they were much stronger than ordinary cultivators of the same level, they were at most on par with Li Wangye. If Jiang Chen could kill Li Wangye with ease, it wouldn't be difficult for him to kill them. Therefore, even though the 3 of them had joined hands, they still didn't feel safe. Voila! Jiang Chen's qi fluctuated. The surrounding waves surged again. 3 water dragons were formed instantly and launched at the 3 half-step sovereigns. Not good run. The 3 half-step sovereign geniuses who were already prepared for battle and even had the confidence to fight Jiang Chen had a drastic change in their facial expression the moment they saw the water dragon. An extreme sense of danger rose in their hearts. Furthermore, They had just witnessed how Li Wangye was killed by the water dragon. He didn't even have the chance to resist. Therefore, the moment the water dragon appeared, they completely lost the courage to continue fighting. In order to survive, face was no longer important. If they didn't escape now, they would immediately die under the water dragon and follow in Li Wangye's footsteps. In fact, even if they ran now, they still wouldn't have much of a chance to escape. Haha, the entire body of water is under my control. Where do you think you can run to? Jiang Chen burst into laughter. He didn't put these half-step sovereigns in his eyes at all. Moreover, they were in the body of water, so he had the upper hand. Under Jiang Chen's control, the 3 water dragons were extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they caught up with the 3 half-step martial monarchs. The water dragons opened their mouths and swallowed the half-step martial monarchs, just like how it killed Li Wangye. Although the 3 half-step martial monarchs fled in 3 different directions, the result was the same. Ugh! 3 miserable screams were heard. The 3 half-step martial monarchs died under the water dragons. Jiang Chen's chi fluctuated again. The water dragons disappeared into the body of water below, and the corpses of the 3 half-step martial monarchs fell into the water. Damn it! Lan Xian, who was fighting with Yu Huafan, saw everything. His eyes were about to spit out flames. 3 half-step martial monarchs died just like that. He had brought 7 people with him this time, but now, only 1 was left. Moreover, it seemed like this one was going to die soon. He had seen De Huang Dog's ferocity. Geniuses of the same level as him were not a match for De Huang Dog. Wakaka! On the other side, De Huang Dog burst into laughter. Under the suppression of De Huang Dog, the first-grade Great Sovereign didn't even have the strength to fight back. His body had already suffered many injuries, and he was about to lose his life. Stop! Lan Xian yelled. He wasn't a fool. He could naturally see the situation today. Underestimating the enemy at the beginning was their biggest mistake, which led to their tragic ending. The loss of the Immortal Court was too great. It was impossible to kill Jiang Chen now. Even without Yu Huafan, the dog alone was already hard enough to deal with. Lan Xian, you don't have the initiative now. Yu Huafan's chi was magnificent. De Huang Dog's performance had also surprised him, but in any case, his opponent was the one who suffered a loss. Therefore, he was in a good mood. Let him go and we'll part ways here, Lan Xian said, then flew towards the heavily injured first-grade Great Sovereign with a sway. Swoosh! Yu Huafan wouldn't give him the chance. He hadn't forgotten how Lan Xian and the others wanted to kill them at the beginning. As the big senior brother of Dragon Hall, Yu Huafan wasn't a kind-hearted person. He knew very well what he should do to his enemies. Today, the enmity between him and the ethereal Immortal Court had been completely formed. In that case, there was no difference in killing 1 more or 1 less person. Why should he let a first-grade Great Sovereign go for no reason? Lan Xian, I have already made a concession. Don't go too far. It won't do you any good if you go too far. Yu Huafan threatened. Is that so? On the other side, Jiang Chen sneered when he heard Lan Xian's words. In a flash, he came to the side of the first-grade Great Sovereign and slashed with the Heavenly Saint's sword without hesitation. Puchi! Arg! The first-grade Great Sovereign was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Facing Jiang Chen's powerful sword, he didn't even have the chance to dodge. He was slashed into 2 halves by Jiang Chen on the spot. His blood dyed the water below red. Son of a BTSH. Lan Xian was infuriated when he saw all the people he brought were killed by Jiang Chen. He gnashed his teeth in hatred and immediately launched a powerful energy attack at Jiang Chen. Bang! Lan Xian's speed wasn't slow, but De Huang Dog was faster. The indestructible head of the dog collided with the energy light beam cast by Lan Xian and destroyed it. De Huang, senior brother Yu, let's kill him together. I will control this water. Jiang Chen said in an incomparably cold tone. The enmity between him and the ethereal Immortal Court had long been irreconcilable. Once they met, it would be a life-and-death battle. If he could kill Lan Xian as well, it would undoubtedly be a huge blow to the ethereal Immortal Court. All right. Yu Huafan responded and immediately launched a seal at Lan Xian. On the other side, De Huang Dog's body doubled in size, like a golden barbarian elephant, and charged forward. Voila! Chapter 1961. Upon seeing this,
Lan Xian's facial expression changed slightly. Even though he was infuriated, he knew that it wouldn't do him any good to continue this fight. Yu Huafan alone was enough to make him suffer. Now, there was a dog whose strength wasn't any weaker than Yu Huafan. If the two of them joined forces, he would definitely be no match for them. More importantly, Jiang Chen seemed to be very proficient in controlling the water domain. Moreover, this guy was so mysterious that he couldn't be judged by common sense. If Jiang Chen could really seal the entire water domain, Lan Xian's life would be in danger. Let's go! Without any hesitation, before the water domain was completely sealed by Jiang Chen, Lan Xian decisively chose to leave. He easily dodged the attacks of Yu Huafan and a Huang dog, pierced through the gap of the water domain like an arrow and disappeared. Voila! Jiang Chen withdrew his control over the water domain, restoring its calmness. Looking at the direction where Lan Xian disappeared, Jiang Chen's eyes revealed a trace of pity. What a pity he escaped. Jiang Chen sighed in his heart, but he also understood that it would be difficult for the three of them to kill Lan Xian. For a figure like Lan Xian, even if he couldn't defeat them, he could still escape. If Lan Xian chose to stay and fight with Yu Huafan and a Huang dog, Jiang Chen was confident that he could kill him. Unfortunately, Lan Xian was a smart man. He didn't let his anger and hatred get to his head. He chose to escape. It was very easy for Lan Xian to escape in his peak state. Forget it. Lan Xian is very powerful. It won't be easy for the three of us to kill him. Today, the Ethereal Immortal Court has suffered a great loss. 7 of the 8 people who came here were killed by us. But this time, the enmity between us and the Ethereal Immortal Court has been completely formed. Yu Huafan said. This wasn't the first time he had fought with Lan Xian, so he knew Lan Xian's strength very well. The enmity between us has long been irreconcilable. Jiang Chen smiled. The fact that an immortal court is chasing after him is enough to show that he's not simple. Junior brother Jiang. You're amazing. Yu Huafan gave Jiang Chen a thumbs up. Being chased by the immortal court and still surviving until now wasn't something that an ordinary person could do. Moreover, Jiang Chen's attack just now had shown him Jiang Chen's strength. Even though he was a first-class genius of the immortal court, he couldn't help but admire Jiang Chen from the bottom of his heart. He was almost sure that Jiang Chen would surpass him in the future, and it wouldn't be long before that happened. Junior brother. You're now a member of our Dragon Hall. Even the immortal court of Ethereal Immortal Domain would have to think twice before laying a finger on our Dragon Hall. Now that we've come out, we're representing the Dragon Hall. Master has said that no matter what we do outside, we can't bring shame to the Dragon Hall. If people don't offend us, we won't offend them. Yu Huafan said in a tough tone. Jiang Chen smiled. He had gone to the immortal court of Fengqi Immortal Domain with a certain purpose in mind, but he did not regret joining the Dragon Hall at all. The way the Dragon Hall handled things suited him too well. Moreover, joining the Fengqi Immortal Court would also bring great benefits to Jiang Chen. No matter what, the Fengqi Immortal Court was a great backer. No matter where he went, the Fengqi Immortal Court was a great deterrent force. The fight with Lan Xian was just a small interlude for Jiang Chen. After Lan Xian escaped, Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan didn't delay their journey and continued to fly towards the demonic Immortal Island. Along the way, they passed by many islands. Jiang Chen had to admit that the scenery in the sea was much more beautiful than the scenery in the other celestial realms. Living here was indeed relaxing. But similarly, the degree of savagery in the outer seas was much greater compared to the other immortal realms. There were powerful demonic beasts everywhere here, and there were also water monsters in the water. These demonic beasts in the water, as well as the demonic beasts on the various islands, were all bloodthirsty in nature. This led to unrest in the overseas region. Of course, as Jiang Chen and the others flew along, the sea below was as calm as ever. They did not encounter any ambushes from the sea monsters. This was a very normal thing. One should know that those water monsters had very strong spirituality. Their intelligence wasn't inferior to that of humans. For powerful existences like Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan, the water monsters would try their best to avoid them. How would they dare to come out and attack them unless they were tired of living? After 2 days of sightseeing, Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan finally arrived at the demonic Immortal Island. The huge demonic Immortal Island was located in the central area of the outer seas. Looking from afar, the island was filled with smoke and mist, with green mountains and clear waters. It was like a dreamland. It was a kind of natural beauty.
Even looking at it from afar, it could make people feel comfortable. The demonic immortal island had a circumference of tens of thousands of miles. It could be called the largest island in the outer seas. Although the demonic immortal island looked beautiful and spectacular from the outside, it was not difficult to sense the heavy and murderous aura coming from the demonic immortal island. The demon race occupied this place. It was ruled by countless demonic beasts. There were constant battles and killings. The hidden murderous aura could not be concealed at all. Junior brother Jiang, this is the demonic immortal island, the most beautiful island in the outer seas. Yu Huafan said. It's indeed beautiful. The demon race of the immortal world really chose a good place to settle here. Jiang Chen nodded his head and praised. De Huang Dog was as dull as ever. It seemed that he was not interested in anything here. This unusual behavior really surprised Jiang Chen. Let's go. Since we are here, let's go in directly and enjoy the scenery of the demonic immortal island. Yu Huafan said and flew directly towards the demonic immortal island. There were several gates on the demonic immortal island. Jiang Chen and the others chose the south gate. At this moment, there were dozens of powerful experts guarding outside the south gate. They were all majestic and wore black armors. Although they looked like humans, the strong demon chi emitted from their bodies directly exposed their nature. Halt! Intruder! Seeing Jiang Chen and the others, a black-robed man immediately stopped them. But when he felt the great emperor's aura from Yu Huafan, he immediately became more respectful. At this time, a girl in blue walked out. She was very beautiful and there were several scales on her forehead. She should be some kind of fish. The girl walked to Yu Huafan and the others and bowed slightly. This was the etiquette they used to greet distinguished guests. The arrival of Yu Huafan and the others was basically the most distinguished guest of the demonic immortal island. Chapter 1962. My name is Ying Er. Greetings, young masters. The girl's voice was clear and pleasant to hear. Yu Huafan and Jiang Chen of Fengqi Immortal Court are here to celebrate the birthday of Tian Peng Evil Emperor under the order of Star Sovereign. Yu Huafan told him his name. So you are the geniuses of Fengqi Immortal Court. We have long heard of your name. Please follow me, young masters. Your reception has already been arranged. Ying Er's attitude became better after hearing that they were from the Immortal Court. She made a gesture of invitation. Yu Huafan nodded and strode towards the demonic immortal island. It was the birthday of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign. Those who came to attend the birthday were basically all influential figures, so they couldn't afford to neglect the hospitality, especially those from the 9 great immortal courts. None of them could be offended. Under Ying Er's lead, Jiang Chen and Yu Huafan enjoyed the scenery of the demonic immortal island. Finally, they came to a dense forest. The forest was full of colorful flowers and trees. The ground was paved with red leaves, which made it very comfortable to walk on. Young masters, this dense forest has a circumference of 1,000 miles. It's also the place where we receive our distinguished guests. There's a bamboo forest in every place. We're about to reach the Fengqi Immortal Court's place. Ying Er said. A bamboo forest appeared in front of them. It was filled with birdsong and fragrant flowers. There was a flowing stream and a wooden bridge. At the center of the purple bamboo forest was a unique courtyard. There were more than a dozen rooms in the courtyard. Even with Jiang Chen's experience, he couldn't help but give a thumbs up to such an environment. Young masters, this will be your temporary residence. There are still 3 days before the birthday of the Demon Sovereign. You can walk around the demonic immortal island freely in these 3 days. This is a VIP card. With this card, you can move around the demonic immortal island unimpeded. Ying Er turned her palm and a bronze card appeared in her palm. She then handed it to Yu Huafan. Thank you, Miss Ying Er. Yu Huafan received the VIP card. In that case, Ying Er won't disturb you any longer. There are more people coming to attend the Demon Sovereign's birthday. I still have to receive them. After Ying Er finished speaking, she turned around and left. Indeed, Yu Huafan and the others weren't the only distinguished guests. The birthday of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign was a major event to the outer seas. Apart from the experts of the 9 immortal courts, there were also plenty of rogue cultivators and other worldlings from the surrounding islands who would come to fawn on the demonic immortal island. Although the status of these people couldn't be compared to Yu Huafan and the others, they couldn't be neglected. The environment here is really comfortable. Jiang Chen stretched his body and immediately felt relaxed. Such a wonderful environment indeed gave Jiang Chen a rare feeling of leisure. It just so happened that there were still 3 days before the birthday banquet, and Jiang Chen could have a good time to relax here. The situation in the immortal world was getting tenser and tenser, and there were fewer and fewer opportunities for him to relax. Jiang Chen had to cherish this opportunity. At this moment, hundreds of miles away from the demonic immortal island, a green-clothed man was standing solemnly. He looked to be in his 30s and was very handsome. In terms of appearance, he could absolutely be called a peerless beauty. The man's eyes were fixed unblinkingly in the direction of the demonic immortal island. His brows were knitted tightly, and his mind was preoccupied. If Jiang Chen was here at this moment, he would definitely recognize that this man was none other than Xiao Wangqing. The current Xiao Wangqing had successfully advanced to the Great Sovereign Realm. Just like Li Wangye, he had just stepped into the first-grade Great Sovereign Realm not long ago. His cultivation base wasn't very stable yet. It seemed like Li Wangye's judgment was very accurate. He would definitely come to the birthday banquet of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Xiao Wangqing was staring blankly in the direction of the demonic immortal island, holding a red jade pendant tightly in his hand. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Today was the birthday banquet of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Ying Er came to the place where Jiang Chen and the others lived early in the morning. 2 young masters, the birthday banquet of the demon sovereign will be held in the demonic immortal square today. Ying Er will bring you there. Ying Er said with a smile. Thank you. Yu Huafan nodded, then followed Ying Er and flew towards the demonic immortal square. The demonic immortal square was the largest square in the demonic immortal island. Usually, when there was a major event, it would be held on the demonic immortal island. It was conceivable that today was the birthday banquet of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Given the influence of Tianpeng Evil Emperor in the immortal world, there would definitely be a lot of people coming to congratulate him. Moreover, every one of them was bound to be a famous figure. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Along the way, they could see a lot of people flying towards the demonic immortal square from different directions. These people had arrived in advance just like Yu Huafan and Yu Huafan. They were arranged in different VIP areas. At this moment, each group was led by a white-robed girl. Jiang Chen. Suddenly, an exclamation was heard not far away. Then, a murderous intent fell on Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen looked towards the direction of the voice and saw a white-robed middle-aged man glaring at him. Apart from anger, there was also unconcealable shock in his eyes, as if he didn't expect to meet Jiang Chen here. Qiu Qianyun. Jiang Chen harumphed coldly. He knew this guy. Back when he was in Genius Prefecture, this guy was Thousand Hand Butcher Qiu Qianyun, a figure of the immortal court of Mi Luo Immortal Domain. There was another person who went to Genius Prefecture with Li Wangye. One-word Glacier Qin Xianbing of the immortal court of Radiance Immortal Domain. However, Qiu Qianyun had already advanced to the first-grade Great Sovereign Realm just like Li Wangye. Unfortunately, the expert in front of him that Jiang Chen couldn't fight was no longer in Jiang Chen's eyes. Kid, you're not dead yet. Qiu Qianyun said fiercely. You're still alive, how can I die? Jiang Chen sneered. Elder Qiu, is this kid Jiang Chen? A genius disciple looked at Jiang Chen without concealing his murderous intent. That's right. It's him. But I don't know why he's with Yu Huafan. Could it be that he has joined the immortal court of Fengqi Immortal Domain? Qiu Qianyun recognized Yu Huafan and was somewhat surprised. Chapter 1963. The sudden change immediately attracted a lot of people's attention. The birthday of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign was about to begin, so all the people who came to attend the birthday were heading towards the demonic immortal square. Apart from the people from Mi Luo Immortal Domain and Radiance Immortal Domain, the people from other immortal domains had also arrived. There were also a lot of powerful rogue cultivators and people from various islands in the outer seas. What's going on? Who's this kid? It seems like he has offended both Mi Luo Immortal Court and Radiance Immortal Court. He's just an intermediate immortal venerable young man, but he has angered the 2 immortal courts. It seems like the enmity between them isn't ordinary. Isn't this kid a little too audacious? He has offended 2 immortal courts at once. Will he still be able to live in the future? Not necessarily. Didn't you see him with Yu Huafan? It means that he's from Fengqi Immortal Court. Many people began to discuss,
But most of them were still watching the show. Generally speaking, those who watched the show wouldn't mind it getting bigger. Plus, the relationship between the 9 immortal courts wasn't harmonious. Naturally, they would be happy to see the other immortal courts fighting each other. Junior brother Jiang, why do you have so many enemies? Tell me, how did you do it? Yu Huafan asked. The way he looked at Jiang Chen now wasn't just filled with admiration. He couldn't imagine how Jiang Chen managed to offend 3 immortal courts at the same time and make them gnash their teeth in hatred. Yu Huafan really wanted to know how Jiang Chen did it. One should know that sometimes, being able to make others hate him was also a kind of ability. Not everyone had the ability to offend the immortal courts. Their people wanted to kill me, so I killed them. That's why they hate me. Jiang Chen shrugged, showing a look of helplessness. He would still do the same thing even if he had to do it again. After all, he couldn't just sit and wait for death when someone wanted to kill him. Jiang Chen, I didn't expect that you would dare to come to the demonic immortal island. Today will be the day you die. Kill yourself in front of us so that we don't have to do anything. Qin Xianbing acted as if he was high and mighty. Jiang Chen sneered. Qin Xianbing, why are you so arrogant? Your immortal court has been plotting to kill me for a long time, but I'm still alive and kicking. Don't think that you can show off in front of me just because you've become a first-grade great sovereign. Li Wangya was killed by me not long ago. If you dare to attack me, I will kill you immediately. Jiang Chen's tone was extremely arrogant. He didn't put Qin Xianbing in his eyes at all. Given his current strength, Qin Xuanbing's tributary was indeed nothing to him. If he really wanted to kill Qin Xianbing, it would be a piece of cake for him. What? You killed Li Wangya? After listening to Jiang Chen's words, Qin Xianbing and Qiu Chenyun exclaimed at the same time. They stared at Jiang Chen with their eyes wide open, doubting their ears. However, Jiang Chen's expression told them that Jiang Chen wasn't lying. There was no need for Jiang Chen to lie about such a matter. Jiang Chen, it seems that you won't be able to walk out of the demonic immortal island alive this time. At this time, another cold voice sounded. Everyone looked over and saw that the speaker was none other than Lan Xian. After escaping from the encirclement of Yu Huafan and a Huang dog, Lan Xian had come to the demonic immortal island alone. Now that he had encountered Jiang Chen here, his killing intent surged. He had never hated someone so much and was so eager to kill someone. Lan Xian knew that it was impossible for him to kill Jiang Chen with his current strength. Now that the Mi Luo Immortal Court and the Radiance Immortal Court had appeared, Jiang Chen would die for sure if the 3 immortal courts joined forces. Yu Huafan and a dog were no match for Jiang Chen. A stray dog dares to come out and roar? Even if you don't find it shameful, I feel ashamed for you. Jiang Chen glanced at Lan Xian and said without any trace of politeness, Damn it! Lan Xian's eyeballs almost popped out of his eye sockets. He had suffered a great loss in this trip to the demonic immortal island. He didn't know how to explain it to the Sovereign Lord when he returned. Lan Xian, is what Jiang Chen said true? Did Li Wangya really die in his hands? Qin Xianbing looked at Lan Xian and asked. That's right. Lan Xian nodded. He didn't want to talk about the details because it was too shameful. However, it was a fact that Li Wangya was killed by Jiang Chen, and he had to admit it. This man's speed of growth is too fast and his talent is heaven-defying. He will become a great threat to us sooner or later. We must take this opportunity to eliminate him today. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles in the future. Qiu Chenyun said Lang Lang, looking at Jiang Chen with a solemn expression. Jiang Chen's speed of growth was too frightening. It had only been a short time, but he was already strong enough to kill a great sovereign. If he continued to grow, he would probably reach the point where he would be out of control in the future. Let's attack together and kill this kid. Qin Xuanbing's killing intent erupted. For a moment, the geniuses of the 2 immortal courts locked onto Jiang Chen. The murderous intent of so many great sovereigns was like a storm, covering a large area of the domain. Adding Lan Xian into the mix, it would definitely be a great battle. Yu Huafan, am here. Let's see who dares to attack. Yu Huafan stood in front of Jiang Chen unyieldingly. Yu Huafan, you'd better not get involved. Otherwise, I'll kill you as well. A black-clothed youth of Mi Luo Immortal Court spoke. His name was Tan Jinya, a first-class genius of Mi Luo Immortal Court, an existence on the same level as Yu Huafan and Lan Xian. Yu Huafan, am not one to be intimidated. The people of Dragon Hall will never compromise. Why don't you all give it a try? Yu Huafan harumphed coldly. The people of Dragon Hall had always been like this. Don't waste your breath on them. Let's attack. Lan Xian spoke, preparing to take the lead and lunge towards Yu Huafan. He had been planning to take revenge. Now that he had made use of Mi Luo Immortal Court and Radiance Immortal Court, it was a great opportunity that he would never miss. Stop! At this moment, a loud shout was heard from the interior of the demonic Immortal Island. Then, a middle-aged man with a sturdy build flew over. His eyes were blue and his body was surging with demonic chi. His cultivation base had already reached the peak of third-grade Demon Sovereign Realm. Such a figure was very intimidating. Everyone, all of you are the distinguished guests of our demonic Immortal Island. Today is the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Demon Sovereign doesn't wish to see fighting and killing in the demonic Immortal Island. If you have any irreconcilable enmity, you can settle it after you leave the island. The third-grade Demon Sovereign spoke loudly. Chapter 1964. Alright, we'll give Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign face and spare this brat's life for the time being. Don't ruin Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday. Qin Xianbing spoke after seeing the third-grade Demon Sovereign of the demonic Immortal Island. He knew very well that it was almost impossible to kill Jiang Chen now that Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign had interfered personally. Today was, after all, the birthday of Tianpeng Evil Emperor, and Jiang Chen was a disciple of the Immortal Court of Fengqi Immortal Domain. Even though they were eager to kill Jiang Chen immediately, they also knew that they had to give face to Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Jiang Chen, you're lucky today, but you don't have much time left. You'll die when Tianpeng Evil Emperor's birthday is over. Qiu Qianyun pointed at Jiang Chen and threatened. Is that so? I'm afraid it's hard to say who will die at that time. Jiang Chen wore an indifferent face. He had been through all kinds of storms and dangerous situations, let alone these people. Even without Yu Huafan and a Huang dog by his side, it was impossible for them to kill him. Although Jiang Chen couldn't defeat them, he could easily escape with the Great Void technique. You're still so arrogant even when you're at death's door. Tan Jinye's face was cold. He didn't put Jiang Chen in his eyes at all. As a peak second-grade Great Sovereign, an intermediate Immortal Venerable was merely an ant in his eyes. No matter how talented Jiang Chen was, he was still an ant. Let's go. We'll let this brat live a little longer. Once we get out of the demonic Immortal Island, we'll let him die a graveless death. Alung Lung said. In the eyes of the geniuses of the three Immortal Courts, Jiang Chen was already dead. From now on, they would pay close attention to Jiang Chen's movements. They wouldn't give Jiang Chen any chance to escape. Currently, Jiang Chen could only rely on Yu Huafan, but Yu Huafan alone wasn't enough to protect Jiang Chen's life. As for the Fengqi Immortal Court behind Jiang Chen, the three Immortal Courts didn't care about it even though it was a powerful backing. After all, their strength was on par with the Fengqi Immortal Court and they had been fighting against each other for a long time. It was a piece of cake for them to kill a disciple. Sigh. What a pity. Jiang Chen is dead for sure. That's right. He has offended the three Immortal Courts and still came to attend the birthday ceremony of Tianpeng Evil Emperor. Isn't he courting death? The three Immortal Courts will pay close attention to him now. As long as he gets out of the demonic Immortal Island, Jiang Chen will die for sure. Judging from the situation just now, the enmity between Jiang Chen and the three Immortal Courts is irreconcilable. The three Immortal Courts won't let go of this opportunity to kill Jiang Chen. Forget it. It's none of our business whether he's dead or alive. Our purpose of coming to the demonic Immortal Island is to win over Tianpeng Evil Emperor and befriend the demonic Immortal Island. As for the fight between the Immortal Courts, the more intense the better. Almost everyone was certain that Jiang Chen was going to die. Some of them even thought that Jiang Chen was courting death by attending the birthday banquet of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign after offending the three great Immortal Courts. However, the other Immortal Courts were more than happy to see this kind of conflict. Jiang Chen had already offended the three great Immortal Courts. Everyone, Tianpeng Evil Emperor will appear very soon. Everything has been arranged in the demonic Immortal Square. Please follow me. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign spoke loudly once more. The birthday banquet of Heavenly Peng Demon Sovereign was organized by Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. As a third-grade Demon Sovereign of the demonic Immortal Island, he held a pivotal position in the island. It was undoubtedly very difficult to meet Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. Only the experts of the Immortal Courts were qualified to receive Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign personally. Although the demonic Immortal Island was powerful and had no connection with the 9 immortal domains, it still attached great importance to the Immortal Courts. After all, the strength of each Immortal Court wasn't weaker than the demonic Immortal Island. Alright, Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign please. An elder of the Yellow Spring Immortal Court clasped his fists at Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign. Everyone please. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign's voice was very loud. He turned around and flew towards the demonic Immortal Square. Originally, there were already people leading the way to the demonic Immortal Square, but due to the conflict between Jiang Chen and the others, Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign had no choice but to show himself. Otherwise, a fight would break out. Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign didn't want to affect the mood of Tian Peng Evil Emperor at such a critical moment. Under the lead of Blue Wolf Demon Sovereign, a large number of people who came to attend the birthday ceremony flew towards the demonic Immortal Island. Junior brother Jiang, it seems like we're going to have a lot of trouble this time. Yu Huafan spoke with some concern. Don't worry, senior brother. These people are still far from being able to kill me. Let's go and see the splendor of the demonic Immortal Island and see what Tian Peng Evil Emperor looks like. Jiang Chen patted Yu Huafan's shoulder with a smile and took the lead to fly towards the demonic Immortal Square. Yu Huafan shook his head and sighed. He really didn't know where Jiang Chen got his confidence from. One should know that the current situation was quite disadvantageous to Jiang Chen. However, Jiang Chen's confidence also made Yu Huafan feel a lot more at ease. His new junior brother looked very mystical, but he was really not an ordinary person. The demonic Immortal Square was located in the most central area of the demonic Immortal Island. The entire square had a circumference of 100 miles. It was very huge and spectacular. At this moment, banners were fluttering on the demonic Immortal Island. Countless great demons in black armor could be seen everywhere. Their solemn combat strength gave people a great pressure. At the most central area of the demonic Immortal Square, there was a high platform on which a beautiful and spacious shed was built. There were 5 or 6 rows of tables and chairs on the left and right sides of the platform. There were hundreds of tables and chairs in each row. These tables and chairs were made of special materials and looked very noble. In front of the highest platform, there were tables and chairs that were specially arranged. Only people with real status could sit here. There were 9 areas in total. Behind each area was a golden plaque with the names of the 9 immortal domains written on it. Ethereal Immortal Domain, Fengqi Immortal Domain, Miluo Immortal Domain, Guangming Immortal Domain, Linglong Immortal Domain, Netherworld Immortal Domain, Wuji Immortal Domain, Ruyi Immortal Domain, Wu Liang Immortal Domain. The 9 immortal domains were undoubtedly the most distinguished guests. Of course, they had to be treated specially. After arriving at the demonic Immortal Square, the people of the 9 immortal domains automatically found their own seats and sat down. As for the others, they didn't have such treatment. They were arranged by some young girls to sit down casually. You're tuning in to the Pswekis Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.